friend and foe alike. Turn off your cable news, or better yet, the only thing it is good for, is to have just graphics in the background. Graphics in the back. That's all I want to see. And as I look to my various screens here and the plush and beauteous studio of the mothership, I am going to my favorites just to see only the riot coverage of America at war. Oh, Mr. President, please, I beg you, put me in charge. I beg you, sir, let me have my own. Look at this. I'm watching Lockup Raw. Do you know that Lockup Raw was the most watched, the most important show in the MSDNC arsenal? Did you know that? I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying this to be funny or cute. It's true, because their show sucks. Listen to me. You're going to find out why my show, this, cannot be played during the week, cannot be played during regular times, because people would drive off the road. They'd say, what am I listening to? Because the first thing I'm telling you is that take everything you've heard on regular, news shows and throw it out the window. It's a waste of time. They don't know how to get down to brass tacks. This is the conspiratorium. This is it. America is at war. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you think I'm exaggerating? Come on, be honest, right? You think seriously? You think I'm? And by the way, do you think you're going to hear this? You're going to hear this on the regular, conservative stuff or whatever it's called. But do you think you're going to hear my solution? Because I know what you're asking. Lionel, that's my name. What's your solution? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Now, before we begin, let me tell you how this thing works. First of all, we got a new move. We've got Dr. Antoine Atwood at the helm. We've got Riff Raff. Answer your phones. Nature Boy is on a sabbatical. He's on assignment. And I've got you and me and a dog named Boo traveling and living off the land. I think Lobo said it best, my friends. 800-848-9222. Right off the bat, let me tell you something. A lot of talk radio people hate callers. They don't know what to do with the callers. They really don't. A lot of these people, I don't want to. They waste a lot of time with guests. But you're my guest. You're the music. Because your demented, lopsided, complete, your mentally discombobulated frame of reference is something that I look to. Especially now. How pissed off are you? PO'd, baby. When you see what's happening in Los Angeles, when you see what that rancid Governor Newscom, when you see the words of que mala, all of you Latinos, all my friends, que mala es quemada. How bad, que mala. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to make you listen to a bunch of lefties talk about stuff that nobody cares about. I don't care. They're dying on the vine. But tell me, answer my question. How furious are you? I'm enraged. I've been enraged just before this. I'm on my YouTube channel at Lionel Nation screaming, putting out the word, bringing them in to come to this station right now, to this show. Join us, because we have to hear from you. What should the president do? Now, let me give you a couple of ideas. First of all, and I hope I'm not bothering any, I hope I'm not going to say anything that hurts anybody's feelings, okay? First of all, the president needs to get me in there, and I come in the back door. First of all, I do not want to actually be in the White House. I don't want him to be seen with me, but I want to be the guy in control of this. I don't want a name in my department. I don't want any business cards. I don't want I don't want any of this. I don't want anybody to know my name. And I don't want to be like that little Kash Patel who makes me rush. Let me tell you something before I forget. And by the way, there's no connection to what I say. This is not stream of consciousness. It is a pattern of lucid and pellucid ideas that I pepper and scatter throughout the day and throughout the morning. This week I saw a picture of Kash Patel, who, by the way, came up with that ridiculously incongruous, this stupid, I don't know what it was, regarding Epstein. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what that was. He and Dan Bongino said, well, I think he committed suicide. Don't insult my intelligence. What are you doing? President Trump, who is this guy? He wants to be a star. Danny Bongino, they want to be a star. They want to go back to the podcast days. I saw somebody this week that drove me nuts. It's a picture of Kash Patel and Joe Rogan standing there saying, look at us, we work out. And Kash has his FBI badge on his belt buckle or on his pants. You're the director of the FBI. You don't have a badge. He's a little boy acting, look at me, I'm a cop. Look, I'm a cop. Here's my badge. J. Edgar Hoover wouldn't have a badge. L. Patrick Gray. Nobody have. No, you don't. What are you doing? What are you doing? These are little boys who just want to. I don't understand this. I don't understand why they. Who are these people? Pam Bondi, bless her heart. I've known her for years. She's one of us. She's a Tampeña. But what was that business about? Remember this? The FBI, the Epstein files? What are you doing? I don't have any faith in these people whatsoever. They want to act tough. Okay, fine. You want to act tough. Look at me. Here's Hexit. Hey, I'm working out with you. What is this? George C. Marshall never did that. Eisenhower never did this. Pat never did. I mean, he was in a battle with you. But Pat never said, I can do pull-ups. What? What are you doing here? MacArthur? Doing pull-ups? I don't have to do pull-ups. And remember something. What you don't know, you wear as a lapel pin. So when you see an American flag, that means you don't know anything about American history. And when you have multiple pins and things on your lapel, you really don't know anything. I'm giving you a little heads up here. I'm telling you. There are people right now who say, I don't understand what's happening. So here's my goal. First of all, Kash, have a nice day. Tom Homan is the only one who at least speaks to something, but Tom Homan can only do so much. And Tom Homan, bless his heart, sometimes I don't really understand what he's saying. He's got a mouthful of marbles or something, and I'm not really sure. Kristi Noem walks around, she wants to be Barbie with a hat, so I'm unimpressed with this whole crew. Sorry. There's one person on the president's administration, his team, that I'm impressed with. You know who it is? Who's a killer. You know who it is? Stephen Miller. He's a killer. He looks like a killer. He looks like Donald Pleasant. He's scary. Scares the hell out of me. And the reason why is because he's no nonsense. So what we need to do is we need to go in there. We need to say, all right, here's the deal. First of all, Mr. President, as you know, this is war. And you have got to do yourself a favor. And I know you love these UFC things, but I think that's the most stupid stuff I've ever seen in my life. Bunch of people choking each other out. What is this? What's the matter with you? Everybody wants to be tough. I'm going to go out of a chop with a rear naked choke. Huh? And what do you do with a tough guy? You tap somebody out. I've had enough. Let me go. In my book, you don't tap out. You choke out. You don't tap out. This is a blood sport. What do you think this is? All of these, everybody I see, everybody, I don't, somehow we have convinced or confused being a man, being masculine with what exactly? Choking people out and boxing and punching and doing kettlebells and eating raw meat? What the hell's going on here? The people that I have in my group are killers. They look kind of like Stephen Miller, and they look like me. And they're just regular folks. We kind of blend in. I don't need to choke you out. What is this about? Seriously? Hey, look, I've got 9,000 pounds of tattoos. I've got a cauliflower ear and teeth missing. And my brain's been scrambled for the past 20 years. Isn't that great? That's terrific. Way to go. Let's hear it for masculinity. We're at war. And what am I going to? Who? What, Mike Tyson next? How about Chuck Wepner? Is he available? What is this? I don't understand it. This is not a protest. This is not unrest. This is not some spontaneous outpouring of frustration. This is war. What we are seeing on the streets of Los Angeles, my friend, and other American cities is not civil disobedience. It is not peaceful dissent. It is organized, weaponized chaos. You hear me? Wake up. It is domestic terrorism. It is a civil war, full stop. And it's being allowed to flourish because the people in charge are either too, as we say in Hell's Kitchen, scared, too compromised, or too, I guess, ideologically invested in the outcome to stop it. The radical left media are proxies. They're aiding, abetting, counseling, procuring, hiring. They are accomplices in this. And I don't want to hear anybody from the left on my show give you their version of whatever it is. I don't care what they say. They're irrelevant to me. This is the insurrection I have been warning America about since day one. And I'm called a lunatic. He's crazy. He's a conspiracy theorist. Some of the best stuff I hear. Guess where I get my news from? Where do you think you're going to go? Where are you going to go, to Fox News? That's good. But you get a lot of B-roll. A lot of B-roll. A lot of cars turned over. What is this really about? You want to go to the other ones? Sorry. It's cable news. Cable news is turn down the volume, turn down the truth, mollify it, make it able to be digested. I'm just getting started. Here's the number. And believe me, I'm going to turn to you. You're going to be in my executive committee. What would you do about this? I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. And it has nothing to do with chokeholds, and it might have something to do with some form of military. Who's in charge of this? It's Antifa. It's BLM. Who sponsors them? Soros. What do? We go after them. We get Palantir. You want to go back? You want to see what happens? Let me show you the new and improved President Trump. Because if you think I'm going to go through this crap again after what they did to us with January 6th, wait till you hear my plans. 800-848-9222. Make a note of this. Prick your finger and write it in blood. 800-848-9222. Oh, wait a minute. And then, keep going. Okay. Is there any particular time that I should? Okay, very good. So I'm going to keep going. Dr. Atwood said, keep going. Well, doggone it, I'm going to keep going. I like that. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. That's what I said. Oh, oh my God, I'm just looking up. Just as an example. I'm looking up, just as on my screen, and there's a General Jack Keane, Neocon Shill, Institute for the Study of War, the Newlands and the Kagans. Do you understand what's happening here? Seriously, do you know, I don't want to be crude here. But do you know what is going on here? Do you know who the bad guys are? Do you know who the enemy? Do you know what you talk about the deep state? They use this term all the time, the deep state. It's actually the shadow government. Do you know who this is? We're looking at an insurrection right now. And I'm telling you, it's not, it isn't coming from the right. It isn't some populist uprising fueled by, forgotten Americans or Trump. It's not the kind of rebellion that gets talked about by the press in somber tones. No. This is media approved, university endorsed, and corporate funded. And it's here right now. There was more, I'm telling you, in New York City, there was more of an effort to shut down people on college campuses from saying things that were, quote, anti-Semitic. I never saw anything like it. I saw units of the New York Police Department I've never seen. Have you ever seen a siege truck? I didn't even know who these people were. Did you see these people on the Upper West Side? I thought, who are those? Those are cops. Those are cops? New York City cops? Uh-huh. Where have they been hiding? With all due respect, I love NYPD, and Commissioner Tisch is doing I'm so impressed. But you've seen a lot of people who are kind of like Oompa Loompa standing on the corner, talking on their phone, with the Cardi B lenses, holding their hat. They could run 2 feet if they had to. And I'm thinking, who is this? This looks like Delta Force. Oh, they're there. Well, I want to see that kind of activity there. I want to see those people kettled. I want to see them surrounded. I want to see them picked up and taken to some military base, an Air Force base, summarily dealt with. Oh, I'll give you due process. And then all of a sudden, spirited away, disappeared into the night. You think I'm crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy. But what if I'm right? Great line from SCTV. 800-848-9222. I've just been given the okay that I may do. And we never call this a break. It's never called a break. We don't call it a break in the business. It's called a radio interruptus. It's called an intermission. It's called a bit of a respite. You got it? Capiche? It's red alert. This is it, boys. This is war. America is on the line. There's 99 red balloons go by. I think Nina said it best. In German. In the German version, not that other one. Oh, that's what I want to do. I want to have a weird mist. I want people to say, what's going on here? I want them to be soporific. I want there to feel like, what's going on here? I want there to be weird devices brought out from DARPA, weird sound cannons, and devices that can drop the temperature or raise the temperature that cause internal non-lethal distress. I want them kettled, corralled, picked up, sent on transport units to some nondescript, unknown Air Force base where they are summarily processed and sent back to the country of our choice. And then when somebody says, where are they? Where are who? You mean the undocumented? I don't know. They're not documented. I don't know. I've got some biometric scans. I don't know where they are. This is incredible. Matt is calling. Let me pull my phone in here. Oh, okay. Matt is calling from the great WGN. Matt apparently disagrees with me on my view. Get ready, kids. Hide the Virgin Mary. Matt, you're on the Lionel Show.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Matt.
Good. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know. I guess I just disagree wholeheartedly with with all of it. I'm not sure exactly where to begin.
How about at the beginning?
Okay, at the beginning, Nixon, Reagan, the Civil War.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you? Wait. You've had a good 5 minutes to pull together your thoughts, right? You call up and you say, I disagree. And this is how you start off. Let's get to the bottom line. What do you disagree with?
Okay. Well, I guess I disagree with the use of military force, in particular against American citizens here.
What American citizens? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, the protests out west right now in L.A., the people on the front lines have got to be all, maybe the vast majority American citizens.
So what? What does that mean? What do you think the National Guard deals with? When there are riots, what do you think that is? What do you want to send in?
Right, that's fair.
The Junior League? What do you want to send in?
These protests have been escalated by, bringing in the military.
Wait, let me get this straight. Wait. You're telling me that in order to escalate a protest, bring in the military. So the best thing to do, Matt, is not do anything. So they'll go away if you just let them work, just burn out their frustration. Is that it?
I mean, in a way, that is I'd say a better strategy.
Let me get this straight, Matt. This is important we understand this. If Matt from Chicago, and by the way, even though what you were saying is profoundly retarded, I appreciate the fact that you've got the cojones to call up and say something as profoundly stupid as this. But I like that. Because these calls, they're going to say, did you get this Matt to call up and say, no, this is really, you're saying if you were the governor or the mayor of L.A., you would say, don't do anything. Let them turn over cars, set things on fire. They'll kind of work it out of their system and they'll go away. Is that what you're saying?
No, see, it's not, because
well, what do you say?
Have escalated for sure.
Well, but you're saying escalated. How do I escalate something by trying to contain it? Do you escalate a fire by trying to put out the fire? Does the fire department escalate the fire by putting water on it? When people are arrested, when business owners call the police and they say, help, they're turning over cars, help, they're looting my business. Matt would say, now wait a minute. I could send out the, quote, military, but that would escalate. Let me send out some social workers, kind of hear their side of the story. Are you kidding me? Seriously. Repeat after me. I don't know what I'm talking about. It sounded like a good idea when I called. But after I'm saying, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you have to say. But make your point. Tell me what you would do.
Okay, what I would do here is this is a peaceful protest from the start.
What are you talking about? What peaceful protest?
Know about peaceful protest?
What protest are you walking? What parallel universe are you referring to? What country? What world? What planet are you on? Are you kidding me?
This was peaceful until things escalated.
Stop it. Why did they escalate? What took somebody?
Trump wants to declare martial law.
Wait a minute. Stop for a second.
We don't want midterms.
Tell me what somebody who said, wait a minute, I was okay with my banner here, but now that, quote, the military here, I'm going to turn a car over and set it on fire.
Because lines were crossed. Trump sent in the military. He sent in the guard here. That was Newsom's decision to be made, not Trump's.
The hell it's not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have absolutely no. Are you going to pull a posse comitatus on me? Is that your next argument?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to pull out.
Please do it. Please do it.
But this is Newsom's call.
You don't know what you're talking about. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. It's 30 past the hour. Actually, 31 on the Lionel show. Que come mierda. That's what you are. Oh, my God. They're escalating it. They were just having fun. Trump had to come in and do it, but they were just having fun. Come on, it was peaceful. Nice try, bucko. Let's go to Johnny in Chicago. No. Chicago, Johnny, in Vegas. Let me pull this damn thing closer. You're on the Lionel show. How do you beat that, Johnny? Huh?
The guy's a nutcase. He is. He's a few stars away from the moon. He is.
Oh, come on.
He's definitely a few stars away from the moon. But here's my point. I am a retired U.S. Marine, and I am.
Thank you for your service, sir.
It was my honor, sir. And I'm very much ashamed of what is going on right now. I have never thought I would ever see this country so divided in this.
This country's not divided. This country's not divided. Nobody's for this. Nobody.
What newspaper are you reading? What do you mean?
Nobody is for this.
I will agree with you. No party is for this, but no party will give up.
I don't know what that means, but nobody is for it. Look, let me try. Let me see if I can explain this to you, okay? And this is critical, and people have to recognize this fact. America is rational. People will say, you know what? You got a problem? You want to protest? Fine. We have protests all the time. We have protests. We had a protest here the other day. We have rallies. We had Puerto Rican Day. We had a group of people who amassed, I believe, regarding Israel. Peaceful, fine, beautiful. Go ahead. Speak your mind. But the moment you're going to turn over a car and then you're going to tell me that I was responsible, that I exacerbated the problem, that I did, and that it's up to me? Are you kidding me? When Eisenhower decided to send in the 101st Airborne, remember this? When he wanted to mandate, was it Little Rock? Where was it? No, Little Rock. It was, I think it was, yes. When he wanted to enforce desegregation and he sent in the Army? What's going on here? This is nonsense. This is nonsense. What they need to do is we need to bring Palantir. First of all, you got to bring Elon Musk in and say, all right, sit down. You done? You done with your temper tantrum? And you're getting slapped around by Bessent? Dear God. I don't want to say anything about it, but Bessent, he lives in a pink house. Little pink houses for you and me, I think John Cougar said it best. So you got it? You got your temper tantrum out? Good. I want you to get Palantir here. And I want to tell, all right, Palantir, all right, Mr. Teal, let me explain what's going on here. I want you to find out a couple of things. I want you to do a reverse. I want you to do a Doge check. Who is Antifa? Who is BLM? Where is the money? What are they doing? Who is behind this? And I want you to find and make a case for Soros. And get Kash Patel, get his ass in here right now and say, enough with this Joe Rogan stuff. You're the director of the FBI. You're not you're not an influencer. Same thing for you, Bongino. Get in here. Now, here's the deal. I want Soros arrested. I want to see people in a perp walk. If you are fomenting, if you are aiding and abetting this, what does this man, and by the way, if the truth be known, I think after USAID was dropped, we're going to find out this guy doesn't run anything. That money came from within. And I want them to go berserk. I want you to have military tribunals, ex-reliquerin, Quirin. Remember Jose Padilla? Do it. You want to have the Patriot Act? Do it. This is a war. If all of a sudden, units of the CCP, because we love to talk about China, everybody knows China, this, China, that. If we had China come in, military units of China, but they were dressed in fatigues or they had a little flag. Well, we say, Sarge, we can't shoot them. Why? Because they're not wearing uniforms. What? Is that the thing? Come to the United States, but wear civvies, wear mufti. Nobody will in any way think you're actually doing something. This is war. This is nuts. Absolutely crazy. Carla in Texas. Carla, you're on the Lionel Show.
Hey, Lionel.
Talk to me.
Okay, well, it's my first time since I last called was Bob Grant, so this is a special one for me.
Well, bless your heart.
Yes. No, I want to talk about Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass.
Mm-hmm.
Their negligence by not doing anything to prevent the escalation or whatever was going on when it wasn't as hot as it is today.
Absolutely.
They should be held liable. And why is anyone saying, well, if you had done something, we wouldn't have had to call the National Guard and perhaps the Marines now.
But here is the story, and I know this may not meet with to your satisfaction, but I'm going to give you a story. They are going to say, first of all, there is a certain wiggle room that these folks can have, a certain degree, a certain how do I say this? A certain level of authority that they may what am I trying to say? Enlist or interpose or what have you. What they're doing is simply this: Mayor Bass, we never got to the bottom of those phony baloney fires in northern in L.A. I went through it. I have by the way, LionelMedia.com. I sent in newsletters. I documented this about the 50-minute cities, about all of these plans they wanted to make. They wanted to make this area. This was prime real estate, and the thing that they wanted more than anything else was the Olympics. This is all they cared about, and the World Cup. And they had to get new areas, new real estate. So what do? Burn them out! But America is so silly and so ridiculous, they won't pay attention. Do you remember Northern California? Northern California. Remember this one? When all of a sudden, when there was a talk about this weird bullet train or this super train or whatever this train was, and all of a sudden they said, we got to get rid of these people. Why? Well, it's right in the middle of our proposed railroad, our train tracks. Next thing you know, and all of a sudden people said, we're seeing some weird lights here. Remember that? And they showed videos of this. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene said, Well, I think she mentioned Rothschild or something, and they said, "Oh, Jewish laser lights is that?" And then they just took it off because what they'll do is they will take what you're saying, they will completely either misconstrue, as R.G. Bunker would say, misadapt, misrepresent, misstate, and then they made her out to be some kind of a lunatic. When other people were saying, no, we saw this. And even Joe Biden and others talked about people with blue, remember this? People with blue roofs. Remember this? Were you paying attention? No. You're not going to see them. They're not going to talk about this. When you talk about things like direct energy weapons, they don't want to hear about this. Not on these cable news shows. No. They're given this little script. Stay within the lanes. Just talk about this. Well, guess what happened? Same thing. All of a sudden, we had these weird fire patterns all of a sudden in L.A. And none of the people there even cared about it. It just is all forgotten. And there was that Mayor Bass. And there was Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, remember something. Remember who runs California. The Newsoms, the Pelosi's, the D'Alessandros, the Browns, and the Gettys. Balthazar Getty. It's a whole group of people. This is where Gavin Newsom, they got to break it off in him. They got to let him know who's boss. And like I said, bring in the boys. Bring in and find out. You have never had, look, I love this president, but so far he hasn't done bupkis. He's almost 10% of 130 days, about 10% of his entire, 10% so far of his entire term has transpired. And what have we done? Who are the big arrests? A couple of what? Some state judges somewhere? What's going on here? I don't understand it. We talk a big game about a lot of stuff. Bobby Kennedy, God bless him. He went from being an anti-vaxxer and getting to the bottom of autism to red dye number 3. What is he, Lou Bega? A little bit of in my life. Remember that? What happened to him? Kash Patel went from, can I go on the Joe Rogan show? I'm serious. What's going on here? And I would say to the president, I'm saying, listen, if you don't want to have a DOJ, then just tell me. If you don't want to indict somebody, tell me. But those people came after you with their fangs bared and nothing got in their way. Show us something, okay? Show us something. Okay, let's go to David in New Jersey. David, you're on the Lionel Show.
Show me the money! Yes, show us something. And I think I speak on behalf of law-abiding citizens.
David, what was that about? Explain to me. Show us the money. What are you referencing that to?
In deference to that film with Tom Cruise.
No, I know the source of Show Me the Money, but explain the context of what's going on now.
Well, I share your frustration.
If I yell, play it again, Sam, what does that have to do with anything? So explain to me what that means.
I share your frustration with the prosecutor of George Zimmerman. I really think that the Attorney General,
George Zimmerman was in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I'm talking about Miss Botox. I truly believe that she is in over her head.
She didn't prosecute Zimmerman.
She was the Attorney General of Florida, and she...
Yeah, but she's at the state attorney. It was the state attorney.
Until the trial.
It was a state attorney. No.
She insisted he be kept in jail until the trial. And that was under the National Attorney General, the job that she is in right now. I believe under Obama, I forget the guy.
Okay, David, wait. Stop. You might as well be talking about Bitcoin. What does this have to do now, right now? What are we talking about now?
I think beyond Bondi could be doing a lot more, and the fact that
I agree.
The FBI director's home being swatted.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my God! And going on television. I mean, I get it. People want to go on TV. They may be narcissists, fine, but I don't think him going on television is helping anything. And quite honestly, if we don't have indictments soon, I can already read, as you were alluding to, on what's going on. I mean, I can hear it now. Oh, well, we got to be united for 2026. I'm done with that. I think that there should be indictments. I don't think there will ever be any convictions with the communist jury pool in the D.C. area. But I'd like to see.
Well, that's why you've got to change venue to maybe perhaps some other place too. I understand that. That was a very interesting take. All over the place. But nonetheless, the thing that is the most important, I want to go back to this. They're already showing pictures. They're already showing pictures. Thank God for X in this, of bricks and missiles being dropped and delivered on corners in LA. Shrink wrapped, sitting there. Who is behind this? Who is behind Antifa? Andy No, read him, follow him on X. He gives you the names, who they are, what's going on here, who is behind this. There was a time in this country where everybody wanted to go after the mafia, the mafia, the mafia. Mafia didn't do anything to bother me. Okay, concrete prices would go up. All right, okay. All right, that's bad. But the mafia never turned over cars. Hell, I don't know about you, but I would. Would you mind living next door to some mafioso? I wouldn't. Hell no. Compared to this, in fact, if we let the boys go, here, go out, take care of this. But see, that was big, and that was important. And I know Rudy Giuliani. I know him makes your career from the days of Dewey. But we have these weird priorities. We spent billions. I don't even know what are we doing? Some guy, Vinny the Nose, great. We showed this. And by the way, no other group of people. I mean, do you think the American organized crime, the Italians, the Sicilians, are the only ones involved in this? You don't think the Albanians or the Chinese and the Russians or whatever? I mean, I don't understand that. But that notwithstanding, we've got the group of people right now who are responsible. Did you see how organized this was? You know and I know NYPD Intel had PDF files from the last time. They know this is organized. This is organized. This is war. Get Elon Musk, wake him up, slap him around a little bit, tell him, all right, are you done pouting? Let's get to work. I want to have all of their accounts shut down, bank, the same way they did to brave Americans who dared to express themselves, who found their PayPal accounts denied, Patreons denied. Remember that? Remember how they treated us? Remember how they treated the January 6 people? For what? For what? Parading without a permit? There was nothing they wouldn't do. Nothing. And let me tell you something, too. Do me a favor. Tom Homan, God bless you. Stop going on Fox News. That doesn't mean anything. In fact, surprise them. All of a sudden have breaking news. 500 members of Antifa were arrested today by the 82nd Airborne and swooped up. That would get something. And then say, see what I'm doing? Somebody should sit there and go and explain to the folks of Mexico, I know this is you. I know the cartels are involved in everything from fentanyl to human trafficking to child predation, and we're going to declare war on you. And all of a sudden, believe it or not, for all you people who say, this laser talk is fire up Satellite 3, take out, Ciudad de whatever. All of a sudden, and they say, oh, but that didn't happen. What? That light that came from, I don't know. There's no such thing as that. You just took out half a city block. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. We don't have death rays. That's that crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene talk. No, we saw a light. No, you didn't. It doesn't exist. Just like they're telling you, we'll talk about this later, this double psyop that they're doing where they told you, oh, by the way, Area 51, that was just us trying to, yeah, okay. We'll get to that in a moment. They think we're so stupid. It is time to bring in the boys. It is trying to say, this is war, and do everything in your power. And I want you to go after. They went after a sitting president. You show this Gavin Newsom, I am going to break it off in you. You have no idea. And by the way, Gavin, remember who Gavin's ex-wife was? That's right, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Think she knows something? Think she knows about it? You want to hear about it? You want to go in? And by the way, let out the dirt. Go black bag, go dirt here. Let it out. Have Gavin Newsom say, please stop. Oh, we're not done. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're all of a sudden, we're in charge of every platform there is. Watch what we do. This is your life, Gavin Newsom. Crank it out. Let them have it. Have somebody say, you want to do this again? You want to go after me? Trump's got to send out a message that says, when you come after me, I will come after you with everything. Legal, dirty, black bag, psyops, you name it. I am not to be trifled with. And I use the word trifle because trifle is another word that it starts with an F. But this is a family show. Now, do you want to remember that line? Who was it? Sean Connery? When they bring a knife, you bring a knife. When they bring a gun, you pick up to the morgue. We are just going to be talking about this. And stop going on Fox News. That's not helping anything. Nobody's watching this. The Sinaloa cartel are not going to say, did you see what happened? They went on Sean Hannity. That's it. What? That's not helping you. I just choked myself doing that weird. Well, anyway, enough with that, my friend. I'm losing my mind. I am so PO'd. I can't even speak. Piven strategy. CLOWARD. Coward with an L. Cloward Piven strategy. Do you know what this is? Well, let me tell you. It's a political strategy outlined in 1966 by American sociologists and political activists Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven. It is the strategy of forcing political change to societal collapse through orchestrated crises. The Cloward-Piven strategy, ladies and germs, seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with a flood of impossible demands, amassing massive unpayable national debt, and other means such as unfettered immigration, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse. This is not an accident. Pay attention to what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get this out of the way. Jeffrey in Queens. Jeffrey, I know your recommendation.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of Billy Strings myself. May I also throw in Molly Tuttle?
Yes, I've heard of Molly Tuttle. Hi, Lionel.
Good.
Right. I'm calling for a bluegrass follow-up.
But even though we're not talking about bluegrass, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you thank you for this. I didn't want to blow you off, but for us all of a sudden to talk about the collapse of civilization as we know it, the implosion of our constitutional republic, to stop and talk about the immaculate twang of bluegrass. I'm just saying. By the way, July 19th at the Cutting Room, I'll show you some bluegrass. In any event, my friends, let's go to Joaquin. Get ready for this. Get ready. Get ready. Remember, here's a drinking game. If he mentions pain, the truck, or whatever it is, take a shot. Here we go. Get ready.
Lionel, my man.
Here we go. How are you, buddy?
Good old-fashioned American supremacy, okay? And, you know, when they came after Donald Trump, they didn't just come after Donald Trump. They came after America, us Americans.
Indeed.
I'm getting very, very sick and tired of hearing people talking about how we're divided. The divide is this. Either you're America, American sovereignty, or you're globalist. You're anti-American. You want to destroy the freaking country.
Could not have said it better myself. And like I'm saying to you, no, America is not divided. There is not anybody who says, come on, all you illegal Mexican or whatever you are. Good for you. Yeah. Yeah, turn that car over. Yes, wave that old Pedro or whatever the name, old Gloria. But go ahead and do it. Come on. Come over the border. Take our jobs. Infiltrate. Infest our society. Don't worry about the law. Don't worry about right or wrong. Just come on in. We're for you. And we don't want anybody interrupting this systemic collapse. Nobody is for this. And the best part about it, if ever you wanted to see a miserable group of people, look at L.A. What is the matter with you? Even when they don't even suspect what happened regarding the fires. They don't know anything. I mean, what do they need? And remember, we have been telling you for the longest time, this is the war. Iran is not my enemy. Russia is not my enemy. Ukraine is not my enemy. Israel is not my enemy. Nobody's my, no. That's over there. My enemy is within. It's a cancer. It is a systemic rot within this country. And we have for the longest time permitted this. And the moment that you allow this, let me explain something to you. Unless until Donald Trump, the hell with Newsom, scares people where people say, oh my God, this guy's out of his mind. When all of a sudden, listen to what I'm saying. If you saw 200 Buicks flying in the air, what are those? Those are drones. Remember the drones around Newark Airport? Remember the drones around New Jersey? Remember that one? And he said, oh, no, they gotta, who was it? Right off the bat, Trump said, right, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. He didn't get to the bottom of that. They told him, why did you say you were going to get to the bottom of that? Alrighty, my friends, sometimes it's best just to stop the music immediately. Just to let you know, this is not a time for frivolity. Lionel with you. Let me explain something to you, in case you've just tuned in. The next time one of your ridiculous chidrulo friends say to you, that President Trump is exacerbating the problem. He has no authority to exercise, a force. This is a state matter. You tell them two things. The first one is, shut up. Then you tell them, the president most certainly has the constitutional authority to restore order in Los Angeles, and it's not a violation of posse comitatus. Let me explain. Let's get something straight. President Trump not only has the right to bring in federal forces to stop the rioting and the looting and the insurrection and the sedition and the violence that's taking place in Los Angeles, he has the constitutional duty to do it. And he doesn't have to ask permission from anybody. The radical left, these people, these insurrectionists, the radical, crazy, nihilistic, whatever these ghouls are, their activist media and these enablers are absolutely incredible. They have a long list of compromised politicians who want you to believe that the Trump administration deploying troops would somehow violate posse comitatus, the Posse Comitatus Act. I will explain. That's a lie. Or more precisely, it's a distortion of the law. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 simply limits the use of the Army and Air Force in domestic law enforcement activities. Okay? Unless authorized by Congress or the Constitution itself. It does not in any way prohibit or proscribe the use of federal forces under lawful exceptions, nor does it apply to the Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, or National Guard under certain conditions. And it does not in any way handcuff the president when the Union is under siege. Let me give you an exception, okay? Listen carefully. This is what you have to know when one of your stupid friends or one of those stupid CNN people come up with this stupid idea that doesn't apply. Number one, the Insurrection Act of 1807. Oh, this is good. Is the lawful tool in the toolkit that presidents have used for over 2 centuries to restore order when states either cannot or will not do so for themselves. What it does is it authorizes the president to, under circumstances, deploy military forces without the consent of a governor when there is, number one, write this down, an insurrection against the authority of the United States. Number 2, a breakdown in the enforcement of federal law. Or 3, a denial of citizens' constitutional rights due to domestic violence. All 3 conditions have been met in L.A. That's it. Federal law enforcement agents are being obstructed by mobs. Violent extremists are, in essence, defying federal immigration laws, attacking our officers in our streets, and elected officials. Remember this name, Councilwoman Eunice Hernandez. She's actively encouraging and inciting sedition and interference, and California's leadership has shown a zero willingness to stop it. You got it? So that's number one, the Insurrection Act. And what do I say to people who says, yeah, but that entices and exacerbates? I say, shut up. Exception number two, the National Guard under federal control. Oh, this is a good one. President Trump can federalize the California National Guard under Title 10 of the U.S. Code. Once it is federalized, listen, the Guard is not subject to state orders and can be used in support of federal missions, including domestic law enforcement. This is not a theory, Sparky. It is done and has been done before, most famously by Presidents Eisenhower and Kennedy to enforce desegregation. Nobody said, hey, we'll take care of the desegregation for you in this out. No. In both instances, Democratic governors resisted federal authority. And in both instances, the federal government said, oh, no. Sorry, move over. So let's be clear. Listen to what I'm saying. Using federal troops in Los Angeles is not unconstitutional. It's not illegal, and it's certainly not unprecedented. What is illegal, listen, is allowing open rebellion to simmer and fester like a boil while federal officers, our federal officers, are assaulted and federal laws are ignored. You got that, Newsom? You got that? So I could go on, but anybody who tells you this nonsense does not know the law. Period. And you don't need permission. Look at the Daily News. Insane scene in LA. This is from the Daily Mail. As anti-ICE protesters torch self-driving cars. Have you seen this one? The Waymo. Have you seen a Waymo? A Waymo is a self-driving kind of Google cars. There's Waymos in LA than we thought. Oh, this is incredible. Trump sent in 2,000 National Guard troops and placed 500 Marines on standby. Let them go. Send in the boys. This is it. Let me tell you something. If you think I'm one of these typical right-wingers, I know what you're thinking. You're out of your mind. This has nothing to do with left or right. It's about order. I am a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution of the United States. I believe in law and order. I believe in what needs to be done to maintain the sanctity, the purity, the calm, the serenity, the constitutional conversance of this country, my country. That's it. This isn't left or right. Anybody who gets in the way, anybody who violates the sovereignty of our country, it's war. This is not an exaggeration. Abby in New York City, you're on the Lionel Show.
Lionel, what sovereignty of the United States are you referring to?
The sovereignty of the United States. What does that mean? The ability to maintain.
I'm asking. You just made that statement. No one should advocate the sovereignty of the United States.
Yeah.
You mean, how is that being abrogated? By what?
By lawlessness, by direct and total interruption of federal law in Los Angeles, by troops and mobs of insurgents who are being fomented.
Troops.
You know, like a dance troupe, brigades, people, these rioters.
Who is defining rioters?
Are you dense?
Let me just ask you.
No, I'm serious. No, I'm serious.
Over the years, I know you believe in freedom of speech. I know that you are an advocate of freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems sometimes, but not on your show, because the reality is,
what is she
when
talking
there were
about?
hearings back years ago,
Somebody help me.
talking about the protests of the Vietnam War, if you just indulge a teeny bit of history, and there were incidences,
ground control,
to
Major Tom,
during demonstrations that were
help me.
Originally peacefully.
Does this woman have sharp objects in her home?
Enacted.
Does she drive?
Demonstrations.
Does she have children?
Also uncovering.
Does she vote?
Of
Dear
state agents.
God, we need a health welfare check of this woman.
Specifically,
what the hell's going on in my country?
What
are you talking about?
To up the ante
up your ante, honey, and your uncle while we're at it.
To do violence.
800-848-9222.
To bash heads.
What the hell are you
co-hosts
talking?
on the prior show said, if they spit, crack their skulls
I can't
open.
take this anymore.
And I bet you're going
Dear
to
God.
You're going to double down on that, and you go, absolutely, right? Is that your position, Lionel?
Let's go to Pete in Lakewood. Pete, you're on the Lionel Show.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This should be done exactly the way you said it. This is Saul Alinsky's idea. Rules for radicals. Just pick a target and destroy it from within.
Listen, with all due respect, please. Wait.
Barack Obama is directly behind it.
Okay, stop. Who?
Barack Obama said he wants an army of civilians. Now he has an army of civilians.
Pete, I love you to death, but this is all garbled gobbledygook. Number one, would you please forget Saul Alinsky? Everything Saul Alinsky said has been said since the days of the first rabble-rouser, from the days of the Pinkertons, the idea of causing of tumult and the like. Saul Alinsky is the favorite, and he said some interesting things. Saul Alinsky one time said, the best attack is derision or insulting or whatever. Accuse your enemy of that which what you're doing. It's like people who read Ayn Rand. It's like Ayn Rand it's a joke. I mean, Saul Alinsky is great and everything, but that's not it. This is simple. Let's don't complicate this. The idea of this Barack Obama. Listen to what I'm telling you. And then you may not like this. Barack Obama is in charge of nothing. Nothing, especially after Biden. Nothing. He doesn't want to be in charge. He did his 2 terms. Same thing for that dingbat, quote, wife of his. They couldn't fire the cleaning lady, as my friend used to say. We love these things. That's not it. The question is, the people who run this country have names you've never heard of. And they don't and the thing is, we can talk about who's in charge of this and that, and that's fine. But we've got to address this right now. What the president is doing is terrific. Ask yourself this question. Would Vladimir Putin put up with this? The first thing you should tell Trump, which will drive him crazy, would Putin put up with this? Would Xi Jinping put up with this? Or are you kidding me? You can protest all you want. Turn cars over? What? Try going to any other country except for the UK. Have you seen this? Oh my God. I don't listen. I know this may sound terrible, but have you seen the number of Muslim mayors in the UK? Not that that's wrong, but what the hell's going on? Look, that's their problem. I'm not going to ask anybody. There's something about this trepidatious, scaredy cat. I don't want to be. No. I want to tell people, protest all you want. The moment that you use violence, and look, we know what's happening. We know what's happening. Whether it's communism or Marxism, I don't know. All I know is I want somebody to bring me the head, figuratively, of Newsom. He is trying to gear up. He is trying to pit the world against Trump. Trump has got to show people what it's like to be Trump. This is a man who is a big talker, and he stands behind it. Mr. President, this is your time. You've got to show people, you've got to say, you've got to overwhelm them. You've got to do something so divisive, so decisive, so obstreperous constitutionally that the people on CNN don't know what to say. Where Caitlin Collins does that, she can't talk. Where that Rachel Maddow doppelganger, Chris Hager, you just freeze them. When all of a sudden you're saying, what is this? I want to see troops come in that don't have insignias. I want people to say, what the hell is this? I don't know. What do you mean? Well, that's it. What? And it's done. Kettle them. Surround them. Turn on devices. Bring on DARPA. Turn up the heat. Don't crack heads. I don't want to do it. We don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. All of a sudden, if I wipe out Antifa, if the people who are behind this all of a sudden have their accounts frozen, if they're indicted on insurrection, that'll stop immediately. When they bring out George Soros in chains, that'll stop immediately. Believe me. You won't need to crack any heads. You don't need, it goes away overnight. But that doesn't happen. You know, if I didn't know better, I think this was an inside job. But then again, that would be too crazy. Our number is 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. And I've got more news coming up about what's happening in the world of UFOs. And this, oh my, you're not going to believe this. This diversion story to keep you away from the truth. More coming up on the Lionel Show. Stay tuned. Pentagon UFO disinformation nonsense. This joke. Look, you know what's going on. I know what's going on. I've got to tell you, you've got to look for in the right areas, the right places. This is something which is bigger than anything else. If you watch cable news, it's like thinking that Kenny G is jazz. I mean, it is, but it's not. Listening to cable news is like thinking that Andrea Bocelli is like UC Bierling or opera. Well, yeah. Listening to cable news is like thinking that Garth Brooks is Lefty Frizzell. No, not really. They can't tell you anything. They can't tell you. They live on B-roll. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen to me. Listen to me. Go to LionelMedia.com. I've got a newsletter. One last night, one today. Sign up for it. I don't hold back. And God bless this station. God bless this station. God bless and everybody involved in this. You know what they've told me? You know what my marching orders are? You know what? Tell the truth. That's it. I can't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, come on, this can't be. Tell the truth. Okay. But it may not be from fine. Tell the truth. And I'm thinking, are you sure about that? Absolutely. Let them have it. Let people have the truth. Let's go back to the phones, back to what I call the fun. Let's go to Nick in Virginia. Nick, you're on the Lionel Show on the other side of midnight.
Hey, Lionel. Oh.
Yeah, Nick.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm popping popcorn. Anyway.
Oh, you're not using oil, are you?
Yeah.
You know, the best way is to microwave it. I swear to God, just microwave.
No, I threw my microwave away. It's dangerous.
No, it's not.
Sure. All that plastic?
No. Wait a minute. What?
All the plastic you eat when you cook with it. I believe that. I believe it.
Put it in a glass bowl and then fire it up. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, I don't. Yeah.
You threw it away for that? It's not the plastic. It's what this I love how all of a sudden everybody says, "Oh my God, we got plastic." It's been around since day one. Remember these people who say, don't use that deodorant. There's aluminum in it. Uh-huh. Aluminum pans, aluminum pot. Yeah, I know that. Hey, there's fluoride in there. Uh-huh. Yeah. All of a sudden, hey, it's seed oils. All of a sudden, they found this out, and then they just go crazy. It's like, you think you're going to reverse anything now at this point? How old are you, Nick?
73.
Ah, for God's sakes. You can chew plastic, and it won't hurt you at this point. Let's face it, Nick, it's over. You and I are done. The fact that we're still standing, we need to build up that resilience to plastic. See, if you get rid of the plastic, your body's going to become sensitive. Our body's going to say, come on, bring on that plastic. Give us the fluoride. Give us the red dye number 3. Come on. Doesn't affect us in the least.
The real reason was it was too grimy and I threw it away.
Okay. Do you ever think about cleaning it? You dirty son of a... I love you, Nick. I love you. You know why? Because you're a nut. So talk to me.
I am. Hey, and I wrote a special limerick for you, but it's not the night to say it. Maybe some other night. But...
Okay. No, wait a minute. Tell me.
What?
Let's break. Get a little mirth and mayhem here. Give us a mirth and merriment, I should say. Let's hear it.
All right. Okay. WABC's After Midnight radio host have listeners head scratching coast to coast. Mm-hmm. Many say some doctors oughta examine Lionel's medulla oblongata to see if his brain is connected to its post.
Thank you. Nick, you have a talent. I don't know what that is, but you have a talent. And I want to thank you. Let's go to Gary in Westman, Michigan. Is that it?
Yeah.
AM 910.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Gary.
Hi, Lionel. There must be something I'm failing to understand because you keep saying that nobody is for this. And if you are referring to what I'm thinking you're referring to, there's plenty of people for this.
No, what I'm saying is Americans do not believe in rioting. Now, there are people...
Where are these rioters coming from?
Huh?
Where are the rioters coming from? They're foreigners?
No. I mean, there are some. It's Antifa, BLM splinter groups. This is homegrown.
Well, are you aware that there was a poll to determine what presidential candidate the Democrats want to put up next time among Democrats, and 27% of them said Kamala Harris?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, are those people for this?
For rioting?
Yeah.
Well, they might be for
Kamala
anything.
Harris
Wait a minute.
herself praised rioting.
No, she didn't. She'll tell you she didn't praise it. Can I read you what she said?
Oh, yeah, please.
Would you? Because I'll tell you right now what she said. Because this is her way out. Anything that hurts Trump, they are for. It's not that they're for rioting. They're for anything that hurts Trump. Let me read you what she said. Hang on one second. Here we go. Oh, here we go. This is from the office of Kamala D. Did you know she was Kamala D. Harris? And by the way, would somebody please tell me, why is Juan Williams on Fox News and Harold Ford? This is why I can't stand this network. What are they doing? In any event, Los Angeles is my home. This is what she said. This is her words. And like so many Americans, I am appalled at what we are witnessing on the streets of our city. The rioting? No. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, it is part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. This administration's actions are not about public safety. They're about stoking fear. Fear of a community demanding dignity and due process. Protest is a powerful tool, essential in the fight for justice. And as the LAPD, mayor, and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful. I continue to support the millions of Americans who are standing up to protect our most fundamental rights and freedoms. Now, let me ask you something. First, it's 30 minutes past the hour. This is the Lionel Show. Okay? Let me remind you of that. I'm sorry, Dr. Atwood. I become so engrossed in this sometimes. I become so engrossed, as you can imagine, because I love what I do. This isn't some gig. Number one, do you think Kamala Harris wrote that? No. You think Kamala Harris cares? No. If somebody came and burned her house down, you think she'd like that? No. They're going to hand her this thing and they're going to say, here's our story. Okay. Now, when there are riots, when she's in, do you think that Muriel Bowser of D.C. likes riots when she's president? No. I mean, she's mayor? No. They're going to say whatever it is. This is the official bumper sticker. This is the official bumper sticker. Now, what I want to show her is I want to say, Kamala, sit down, or Kamala, as we say. I want you to sit back and I want you to look at this. Now look at this for a second. What is this? These are cars on fire. These are cars on fire. Sit down, Kamala. Sit down. You know that was it 2001? No, not 2001. Oh God, that Clockwork Orange. You know where the eyes are. You're forced to watch this. Now watch this. Who do you think is setting those cars on fire? Let me give you multiple choice. LAPD? Nope. LA Sheriff's Office? Nope. FBI? Nope. Insurgents? Antifa and others? Yes. Yes. Now, tell me what President Trump did, Kamala, to force that guy with a Mexican flag. A lot of these people they're not even Mexican. These are agents provocateurs. You know how about false flag, agents provocateurs, as we call them. And this goes back before Saul Alinsky. So tell me, President Trump is responsible for setting cars on fire? Tell me how. Please tell me. Well, he escalated. Escalated what? You know, he escalated. Escalated what? What did he do to make these people set cars on fire and loot liquor stores? Why is the looting of liquor stores? Why? Let me explain something to you. And this is the most important. And I hate to tell you this. But I'm going to give you an analogy, okay? The mechanism and the relation between women taking antibiotics and yeast infections. Now you're going to say, this guy, what the hell is he talking about? Let me explain this. There is a connection, as you might know, between antibiotics and yeast infections in women. And it centers around the delicate balance of microorganisms in the body, particularly in the vaginal microbiome. You're an adult, listen to me. In healthy women, the vagina maintains this perfectly, slightly acidic environment, and it's populated by beneficial bacteria. Lactobacillus is the type. Okay? These produce lactic acid, maintains the pH. Wonderful. Okay. Antibiotics, especially broad spectrum, amoxicillin and all that stuff, they don't just target the bad bacteria causing an infection. They get the good stuff. They kill off lactobacillus. And then all of a sudden, with fewer good bacteria, you get the bad stuff. Candida and candidiasis and monillia and all that other stuff. Now you're asking, what the hell did that have to do with this? Let me explain to you. Right now, look outside. Look outside. See the order? You see people running down the street? Nope. See cars turning over? Nope. The balance is there. The good bacteria, the lactobacillus, they know there's order. If all of a sudden that protection goes away, if ever there is a decrease or a removal of order or the appearance of order, all of a sudden, out of nowhere come the rioters, and they go into auto loot. As soon as they hear or smell fire, hear firecrackers, like during the George Floyd protest. Do you think people protest because of George Floyd? Did they know anything about George Floyd? No, it was a riot. It was a riot. Like Sly Stone said, there's a riot going on. It's auto loot. Something gets into their, I don't know what it is, some preternatural, some type of a thing where all of a sudden they start breaking into liquor stores. So I don't know about you, but there's nothing that I think that really comes across better and explains things better than somebody coming and saying, I want to all of a sudden involve myself in what am I trying to say? Attacking a liquor store. Gandhi did it. Martin Luther King did it. Medgar Evers did it. Some of the great protesters. Cesar Chavez says, "Where's the liquor store?" Why? Because that's what we have to do. It's ridiculous. There is a sense of law and order. If all of a sudden, for whatever reason, there was a sense that there was no law and order, people would get in their cars and start coming into Midtown and break down the Dior stores and go to malls. I'm telling you. I told you, what I fear the most is not Russia, not Ukraine, not Israel or Hamas. That doesn't bother me. Sorry. Hezbollah, Houthis, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon. No. Not here. I've got citizens here. George Soros, Antifa. What does it take for us to realize? What does it take for us? When is the president, when is Kash Patel going to get off his ass and start saying, we have finally investigated this? I have the leadership of Antifa. We have seized all of their records, all their bank accounts. We know who's funding them. This is a revolutionary. This is an organization. Imagine, okay, give them an Italian name, because the only time the government seems to care about anything is when they go after the mafia. Then they love it because, we get to go after and we get bigger headlines. You know what's going on. Daniel in Watertown, Wisconsin, is that it? You're on the Lionel show.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your show, and as far as the peaceful protesters, if Gavin screws them, wants to not protect the owners of the businesses and the vehicles that are being damaged and demolished and set on fire, well, thank goodness we have a president who gives a damn.
Yep.
And these people, quote unquote, peaceful protesters, they're criminals. I need to ask you, what crime do you think that I can commit and get away with?
Well, you can probably commit a lot of crimes and get away with it.
Well, I don't live in California.
No, but I'm saying, listen, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Yeah. And the first thing I want to tell people is that I don't care what the left says. I don't care what it is. Listen, this is something which goes to the very core of what we're about. Again, it's not the people outside. I fear the folks who are in my country, my fellow Americans. This is the insurrection that we were warned about. But it's not coming from the right. Look, what we're seeing now, you tell me this. And by the way, also tell me how this is provoked. Burning building, mobs in block formation. Attacking law enforcement, ICE agents hunted in the street. Tell me how that was coaxed or cajoled or wheedled or goaded. It's coordinated. It's tactical. It's strategic. It's political. President Trump's decision to employ the National Guard or deploy to L.A. wasn't just necessary. It's long overdue. Okay? Did you see? I just saw a tweet. I hope you have the best thing you can do. The best thing you can do is, listen to me, is to go on X, have your own account, tweet. And I also want you to do something too. I want you to go to Senate.gov, House.gov, and do what I do. I want you to have a little email. And at the top of your email, you put both senators. We have two of the biggest losers you can imagine. Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand. Remember Mattress Girl? Nope. Remember Mattress Girl? Nobody remembers that one. Who remembers that? Who remembers Mattress Girl? Remember, I will never forget that. This is the one that this Mattress Girl, this lunatic, destroyed this young man's life. Remember this one? And Kirsten Gillibrand just thought it was great. Invited her to I think it was a State of the Union. I will never forget that. Never. Nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Emma Sulkowicz, remember that one? Emma Sulkowicz. And this just killed me. And the best part about it was nobody said anything about it again. You know, I loved Gore Vidal. And Kirsten Gillibrand embraced her. And everybody loved her. And then all of a sudden, we forgot about it. We're the United States of amnesia. Think about that. This is what we do. This is the part that drives me crazy. And when you look at what's going on, anyway, I was saying before, excuse me, my head is, I'm so, forgive me, I am so angry. I have been up, I have been tweeting, I am enraged by this. This is the only issue that should matter to you. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. I don't care about this. If you want to keep pushing this NATO nonsense, if you want to push these war profiteers, go ahead. I don't care about that. This is domestic. This is it. So what you need to do is this. You go to your email. And by the by, I found out that a lot of these Gen Z, I don't know who kids are today, Z, Z, Alpha, I don't know who the hell these people are. But they don't use email. They don't. It's just, I don't do email. I don't answer email. They have an account, they don't do it, but they'll text. Okay, that's good. That only goes so far. You need to know how to write an email. And at the top, you have two things. You go to house.gov and you go to senate.gov. And I was saying, I'm represented by Chuck Schumer, oh my God, and Kirsten Gillibrand. Forget it. Mattress Girl fame. And Jerry Nadler. Oh, I'm doomed. So at the top of your email, you have those three names. And if you don't know your representative, go to house.gov, senate.gov, and you'll find out who it is. And at the top of your email, you have the addresses. Then you have subject matter, whatever it is. Do something, support President Trump, whatever it is. And you write something like this. Dear, whatever it is, gentle people, if you do not immediately show immediate support, immediately, anon to our president, I promise I will vote for anybody but you, will donate to anybody but you, and will tell everybody that I know not to vote for you. I will primary you. I will do whatever I can. And you send it, love, boom. You wait a day or two, refresh it, send it again. And that during the subject part of it, you put second attempt, second response, second time, whatever it is. And you keep sending it over and over. And there's an intern. And if you ever go to Washington, they have these interns. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're friends of constituents, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. And they're the first line of attack. They're the lactobacillus, so to speak. And the real people who are in the offices that you should be able to walk into as a constituent, they're in the back. They're never available. They got these interns in front. And these people don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, all right? Seriously, they're gone. You haven't lived, you've gone to Washington. Go. Walk into a house. You're a constituent. Go see your senator, and they'll look at you like, who are you? They've lost all sense of the notion of representative government. They think that they're somehow entitled, some kind of divine intervention or something, that they are there. And you let people know this. And you have to get involved. And you can't sit back and think that watching whoever or tweeting or something alone, that's very important. That's not going to do it. Or sending somebody a YouTube channel. I don't know what it is. You see, social media is a wonderful thing. The only problem with what it's done is it's created the illusion that it's a replacement for actual knowledge and knowing what's going on. Get ChatGPT, get whatever it is, Grok, Chat, whatever it is, and have it handy. And when you're sitting there on the can or whatever you're doing and you have your phone, instead of watching for the umpteenth time some TikTok, some stupid dance routine, ask the question. Ask it. Ask ChatGPT. Speak as follows. Can the president bypass the governor of California and send in federal troops. Boom. And it will give you the most incredible answer there is. There is no reason for you not to know this. But Americans don't study. Americans are not autodidacts. They're not self-taught. They're not curious. They're incurious. I've never seen anything like it. Nothing gets them. Nothing grabs them. Nothing. They don't become enraged. They're passive. Maybe it's the psych meds. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. This country is under attack, and they're seeing what your reaction is. You know, sometimes in the old days, they would also tell you that people who are involved in burglaries would sometimes do a kind of a fake burglary, not a fake burglary, but kind of like a show burglary, just to see what the response time is. How long does it take? When's the best time to rob a bank? Is it early in the morning, late at night, weekends, change of shift? They find out. So they're seeing, what are we going to do? And if we don't do anything, if these people are not kettled is when you corral them and you put everybody inside and you take them away. And the thing you do is you tell people, do not come near. If you're down there, and by the way, if you want to be a media person, if you want to take pictures of this, I'm warning you, we're not going to be able to differentiate who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Get out of this area now. We are warning you. We also have to have curfews again. Let me ask you this question. If I told you the following, anybody seen in the street, let's assume everybody knows this information, but anybody found in the street after, let's say, 9 o'clock will be presumed to be a violent felon and will be dealt with accordingly. And God forbid something happens. Do you believe that warning makes any sense? You know, we see these warnings all the time. You see a red light, see a stop sign, you see a sign that says, high voltage, be careful, beware of dogs, watch out. Especially around here, don't throw that paper away, don't flush it, don't do this. There's all these warnings and instructions. If somebody told me, hey, listen, where are you going, Tony? I'm going down to 12th Street. Wouldn't go there tonight. Hey, thanks for warning me. Yeah, better go inside. Don't go there. I don't know if you're going to be safe. Because Trump's bringing in this team. And I can't say this again. There is no rule that says that American armed forces or military or quasi-military law enforcement have to identify themselves with insignias and patches. What if you saw these people that just showed up? Take them and throw their ass in a FEMA camp. Remember the FEMA camps? And when people said, oh, they didn't have those. I heard there's one on the West Side Highway. It was rumored to be. You think I'm kidding, right? No, be honest with me. No, be honest, right? You think that I'm just kidding you. You think I'm kidding you, and you think I'm just saying this stuff because I'm, trying to get, ratings or something? See, I can't be any more serious than this. I am so fed up. You see, during the period of time that I had to endure that Biden administration, something happened to me. Something happened to me, and what happened with what they did to President Trump. I am not the same person. I am so determined to fight for my country and fight for I know it sounds like, what is this guy talking about? I'm dead serious. This is not a joke for me. I'm serious. I am, these people who, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but these people who are into the Yankees or the Mets or the Knicks, and they act like it's the end of the world. Oh, we're out of the playoffs. Who gives a damn about that? Take that passion you feel for a game and multiply it by 1,000,000, and then you will approximate my anger. Is it possible to have a law that prohibits face masks? Yes! Yes! In fact, you can have, if you wear a mask in many jurisdictions, it will elevate and aggravate a crime to a higher degree if you wear a mask. There was always these exceptions for Halloween. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Let's go to Pamela in New Jersey. You're on the Lionel Show.
Hey, this will lead in, but I want to comment on what you said about the staffers. I've been calling senatorial and congressional offices for a solid 4.5 years with all of this going on, like just about every day. They know me. Many of them are very nice and polite. And even if you're out of state, they want to hear your comments. But a majority of them, I am shocked that these congresspeople and senators have morons running the office.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, they are rude. They say you're not in our constituency. Their heads are up their bleep because all they're thinking about is what kind of a job can I get in the future?
Yes.
What can I? And then they hand you this bull. I've got a meeting to go to. There's a high call volume. I said, I'm your high call volume.
Right.
You're not going to find, and not to flatter myself, but you're not going to find too many people more articulate than me.
Absolutely.
Because I'm at the point in my life where I want to primary a lot of you. And, growing up, being very busy, taking care of parents, working full time, you think, oh, I can't be a politician. Oh, that's for like a higher level, that's out of my reach. Well, now I know it's not in my reach because I didn't know how many morons are running our government.
And not only that, and not only that, Pamela, they take a lot of these young kids, and as you know, these folks have no social skills. They don't make eye contact. They don't even have a signature. They don't have an email account. They text. They look down. They mumble. They say whatever and no problem. And I'm telling you, and they do this deliberately to quell, to diminish, and to absorb any particular type of verve or excitement or interest that you had. And they make you want to walk away and say, the hell with it. It's the most sterile walk down the halls of any kind. It is the most sterile thing you've ever seen in your life. And you cannot believe. And my wife, who goes there on a regular basis with her efforts, with Lynn's Warriors, regarding child predation and sex trafficking of children. I mean, you think people would just open the door and say, come on in. Not even that. It's this attitude. And Jerry Nadler, the worst. The worst. I mean, it is just, I've never seen anything like it. I despise these people.
I actually have to say to them, excuse me, I am the people.
I know.
And you are federal people, and it affects us all. And you need to hear what I have to say.
Do you remember a while back, and I keep saying this, Kirsten Gillibrand, when she had Mattress Girl. There was this woman who walked around with a mattress. She claimed she was raped or whatever. Later on, it was disproved, and nobody ever apologized. Nobody apologized. Nobody ever said, we made a mistake. And the reason why is because we have the attention span of a gnat. Coming up, one of the biggest UFO cover-ups ever. Because you know, and I know, they're real and they're here. More coming up with me, Lionel. I'm so doggone upset. It's not even funny. 800-848-9222. That's what I think. Now, I don't know about you, but I am telling you right now, there are absolutely, positively, call them UFOs, EBEs, UAPs, extraterrestrials, critters. I don't know what you call them. I don't know where they're from. They're real. You know it. I know it. Stop it. And there are these people like these gatekeepers like Neil deGrasse Tyson and that Brian Cox. Oh, always looks like he's smiling. Yeah, he's this guy. You see, this is cool. This is. He always like he's smiling, like he just farted in an elevator. Like, what are you grinning about all the time? Yeah, there's no evidence whatsoever on that because of it. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is a joke. He's a joke. Eric Weinstein's a joke. Jordan Peterson's a joke. They're all jokes. I don't know where. I don't understand how they're. Anyway. So now the Pentagon and its obedient media outlets like the Wall Street Journal want you to believe that the entire UFO phenomenon was just some Cold War smokescreen to cover up stealth plays. You got that? Really? So after decades of denial and ridicule and gaslighting, anyone who asks too many questions at it, so they're not revealing the truth, they're rewriting history. So for 75 years, anyone who reported strange aerial encounters was mocked, demoted, silenced, or conveniently ignored. Pilots, generals, commercial air traffic controllers, astronauts. Remember Edgar Mitchell? Hundreds of credible, corroborated testimonies were buried, not because they saw experimental aircraft, but because they saw something else, something the government couldn't explain, control, or replicate. Is that it? And now suddenly we're supposed to believe the little green men were just a Pentagon prank to throw off the Soviets? Are you hearing? That's not a disclosure. That's a psyop, a psychological operation. That's a psyop designed to control the narrative in the face of evidence that we all know. I mean, come on. Have you ever seen an electron? No. Anybody see them? Maybe. You believe in them, right? Right. But did you ever see one? No. You believe in God, right? You believe in angels, right? You believe in them? Fine. You believe in so many things without any, quote, physical proof. But this is another story. So let's talk about the timing of this. Why now? Why admit to any disinformation in 2025? Simple. The cat's out of the bag. We have Navy pilots, Navy videos, verified by the DoD, showing unidentified craft performing maneuvers beyond human capability or imagination. We've got whistleblowers under the UAP Disclosure Act coming forward in droves with claims of recovered non-human craft. And we're not talking about Bob Lazar. Multiple intelligence insiders have testified under oath that there are crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs in existence. So this narrative shift is damage control. They're trying to draw a line between old disinformation and current transparency to, I guess, what, pacify us? It's classic counterintelligence. Admit to something small so you can continue hiding something big. It's called a limited hangout. See, what they're saying is Area 51 wasn't about stealth fighters alone. See, of course, stealth programs were tested there. Of course, everyone knows that. But ask the base engineers, ask the physicists, ask Bob Lazar whether you believe all of his claims or not. Doesn't matter. He was talking about element 115 and gravity propulsion and all this stuff decades before the science caught up. And what about the radar jamming and anti-inertia and physics-defying behavior? What about that? No one seriously thinks the F-117 explained the dozens of credible nuclear site incursions. The Foo Fighters in World War II. Remember the Foo Fighters? Remember that one? Foo Fighters were these globes, these orbs that followed aircraft, military aircraft in World War II. We thought it was the Germans thought it was us, and hence the term, and then the band. How about the 1952 Washington, D.C. overflights? Remember that one that scrambled jets, caused panic in the White House? Remember that one? No. You see, another thing, too, is Americans, and I'm sorry to keep saying this, but it's true, Americans don't know anything. They have some kind of half-baked idea about, well, I don't believe this. Do you know anything about it? Well, no. I've asked people, I said, have you noticed, do you have any questions about the official narrative of 9/11? No, not really. Do you know anything about it? Not really. They don't have any, you should say, I don't know anything about it. But they don't. So let me get this straight. If it was all fake, why the secrecy now? All right, let's apply some logic to this. First, if it was all made up UFO mythology from the 80s, Why does the military still redact UAP data from the Freedom of Information Act request in 2025? Why is that? Why did the Pentagon set up the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office? Did you know that one? The AARO, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Try getting through to that phone. This was to investigate UAPs, if it's all explainable stealth jets. Why did the Senate demand a central repository or a suppository of recovered material and some, they called it legacy program accountability? Why, if there's nothing to recover? You don't launch congressional hearings and defense protocols and multi-agency task forces to study your own lies. You do that when something is flying in your skies that you can't stop, you can't identify, and you can't explain. This is narrative control. Listen to what's happening. And the Wall Street Journal, they don't question anything. They're still, it's Mockingbird. It's Operation Mockingbird's alive and well. The real goal of the latest media campaign is to muddy the waters, confuse you, create confusion, give the mainstream skeptics an off-ramp. Oh, it was all just Cold War psyops. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. And that will go into Wikipedia or PolitiFact or Snopes, and that will end it right off the bat. They're trying to do what they've always done, to keep the public docile and compliant and uninformed. Except now it's not working. Too many people have seen too much. Pilots with video, technicians with telemetry, insiders who have real top secret, big clearance. The government can't suppress the phenomenon anymore. So they're pivoting to managing perception instead of information. And the bottom line is this. The cover-up is the disclosure. The most important part of this stupid Wall Street Journal article isn't what it admits, it's what it omits. You see, the truth is this. UFOs are real. The Pentagon knows it, Congress knows it, and slowly the public is waking up to the generational lie that has been told to them forever under the guise of, here we go, national security. This isn't about protecting, government secrets or stealth secrets or keeping the Ruskies at bay. This is about hiding the biggest revelation in modern history, that we are not alone and that someone or something else is here and has been here. And the bottom line is simply this. Why would they want to keep this quiet? Simple. What if I told you, and by the way, you know who really holds the secrets? Not the government, but private industry, private aeronautics. They do. They have it. There are some folks who might be the only people who know of something. Seriously, there are some, the old days, it used to be the 5-letter numbers, names, like Zebra, Cobra, Umbra, Ultra. Those were the ultimate. I think Zebra was like the highest. 2-3 people maybe have that. And what happens is you can keep things very quiet through compartmentalization. You can be sitting next to somebody working in but you're not going to share what's going on unless you have a need to know. But the bottom line is simply this, so why keep it quiet? Is it because we're going to run out into the street? No. Because we're going to lose our minds? And no. It's because, do you know what would happen if we have a new way to fly? There was a fellow named Philip Corso years ago. He wrote The Day After Roswell. Stanton Friedman, who I interviewed a while back, thought, he was full of prunes. He didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah, okay. Same thing about Bob Lazar. Really? Well, Philip Corso said something very interesting. He said that when we reverse engineered these things, we found out. Now listen to this. This is intriguing. From the eyes of the lenses of the actual critters, the EBEs, the extraterrestrial biological entities, whatever these folks are called, we had night vision vision, night vision goggles or lenses. That the transistor and a photoelectric, light emitting. What am I trying to say? What do you call the cables that send light? Anyway, that by reverse engineering this, we learn this. Well, who gets that first? What agency? What company gets that? Do you know what we can do if I can show you how to fire something up and I can basically use time space as a medium, not to accelerate, but basically fall, to decelerate, to change the notion of propulsion, to have no sound, to just also change frequencies to appear, disappear. You know what that does for warfare? You know what we want? We don't want anybody, forget, Russia finding out about that. We don't want, Boeing doesn't want, Grumman doesn't want, the General Dynamics. Nobody, this will change everything. And what happens to the petrodollar? What happens to that if all of a sudden we don't need gasoline anymore? That you can fly and you can be contained in an inertial bubble and not splat against the side as you make some hard right 90-degree turn. This is the wildest stuff anybody's ever seen. So if you think that there's no reason to keep this quiet, you're not paying attention. So what do? They send people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox, and they tell them, if you ever let anything out about this, Michio Kaku, Gesundheit, but Michio Kaku has been pretty good about this. He's been pretty open about this. But they've told deGrasse Tyson, who, by the way, had his own problems years ago, that suddenly went away, which is fine. But they basically said, if you ever want to ever work in this business again, if you ever want to have your door code work, if you want to go to some Hubble, whatever it is, you better get it through your head right now that you will never, ever, ever let anybody know about this. You will never reveal this. You will never, ever discuss this with anybody, ever. And if anybody talks about this, you say, well, there's no evidence of it. There's no evidence of it. Keep saying that. You're the gatekeeper. Because we'll get somebody else who wants to be you. You got that? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's a funny guy with not Chuck D or whoever he is. He's loving this. He's just like Kash Patel that wants to be a big influencer with Joe Rogan. So you listen to me right now. They are real. Okay? And if you don't know this, if you honestly, seriously can look me in the eye and say, nah, there's no evidence of this, I don't know you. I don't want to know you because you're simply not paying attention. This is Lionel with you. By the way, YouTube, YouTube is Lionel Nation, but on Twitter, Lionel Media, follow me there. And LionelMedia.com is my website for you to sign up for my newsletters. Oh, they're good and tasty. All right? We have more coming up, my friends. 800-848-9222. My friends, 800-848-9222. Let's go back to the phones, back to the fun. David on Staten Island. You're on the Lionel Show.
Lionel, there are things about me you would be I can't have.
That's easy for you to say.
Describe it. I have been gifted since birth. I've been doing things I could never explain, and I've been punished a lot. My fifth great grandfather invented the first real submarine accepted by the United States Navy, called the Alligator. He did not build it. Bruce D. Valeroy did. He also made a second one, took the oars off and put a propeller on it, made it the first real submarine. He tried to steal it from Napoleon Bonaparte.
I love this.
I lost it at sea.
Let it go.
These are things I just learned recently that explains what I'm about to tell you.
Well, please, don't hold back, sir.
A little boy.
Get ready for this.
2 years old, in a carriage, was looking at so-called UFOs flying overhead. They were airplanes, but what does a child know? Unidentified, I didn't know what they were. Flying, they were.
Objects, they were.
Objects, thank you. But ever since then, I've been looking at the sky since I was a kid. I see clouds.
Yes.
I see things in nature.
I've seen those as well, yes.
When I was at McKee High School, I drew my first aircraft and I still have it. It's
This
a
is
hypersonic
priceless.
aircraft. In the
I have no idea where we're
1960s.
going
Now
with
they're
this,
talking
but-
about it. I designed my own gyrocopter. There are 3 aircrafts I wanted to build. There's a whole host of things.
Yes.
And I found pictures recently on the internet. 2 pictures. They look identical in some degree, like a lot. One had 2 flying saucers in it, and they're for real. I believe that they attempted in 1952, about the time I went into an orphanage. And what came out of it was they couldn't fly too well because the aerodynamics did not follow the engineering of conventional aircraft.
Wow.
They have to spin like a frisbee in order to cut
So
through
you
the
couldn't
air.
hear this during the day.
These,
They would let this on morning drive.
I could call the damn thing.
Keep it for us.
Test,
overnight.
Machines that they had to put the aircraft in, wind tunnels.
Uh-huh.
And what they do
Always
is
say,
they put out the pattern of the air going over
there you go.
the airplane.
There you go.
The aerodynamics of the
Right.
wings and so on.
Kind of a Bernoulli's theorem.
Yes. And I also give this to you. You would have a cone-shaped pattern going over the aircraft, the high speeds.
Right.
And when they pass a certain speed, there's a vacuum behind the aircraft.
Yeah.
And what happens, it slams down, of course, the hypersonic or aircraft sonic boom.
Sure.
Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier.
He certainly did.
That is also one of the pictures I have. I have the Enola Gay, 2 F-86s, or facsimile of it, because I don't know the planes at that time that well, and the Bell X-1.
Wow.
And I believe also
Imagine somebody
the
just tuning in now.
X-15 has never been broken on all the
Going to
stars
like a
that
Guardia,
are
getting a
created.
rental car, turning on the
There are
car,
things that
and
I
this
know
is
that I
on.
could do, but I've been boxed in a corner since I was a child.
Why is that?
And prevented from getting what I needed.
Why?
I only have a few years left. I'm 81 this September. I never had a father, I never had a brother, and I never had friends that would help me get where I belong. I should have been versed in math, and I would have been able to build everything I see. The expression is, in McKee High School, a test I took, IQ 135. The kids turned around once they saw my aircraft and started to push me into fights. I had to switch schools. And ever since I was born, I was moved from one neighborhood to another, and I couldn't make friends. I needed somebody on my side.
Well, David,
and I know
my
what's
friend,
coming.
you are our friend, and you have us on your side, my friend.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I introduced myself today and mentioned the fact that I found out recently on your station that China wants the North Pole.
Okay.
I pick up on it, and I think Trump is the best person I ever heard of.
Absolutely.
As far as presidents in American history.
David, I thank you, my
the
friend.
North Pole could cover the northern hemisphere
Absolutely.
of the globe
Absolutely.
in one shot. Getting Greenland to protect the people.
I don't even know how to get the hell out of this call.
Protect their own property
But
over China.
I'm afraid he's going to get better.
Russia wants Europe. China wants the United States.
Offer him like a weekend show.
And Iran wants North Africa. They all have nukes. And if they melt the caps on the North Pole,
that's it.
They're going to raise the water.
That's all she wrote, my friend. Hey, listen, David, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Please call me again.
I shall.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
At this station.
Thank you, sir. Best call ever. Flag that. Flag that. It's amazing. Riff Raff is writing down notes. He's trying to remember this. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. I will never forget that man. I will never forget that man. Now, right now, you're listening to The Lionel Show. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. That's the number. That's the number. So, my friends, what I say to you right now is very simply this. Listen to what I'm saying. It's critical. Right now, it is 30 past the hour. 30 past the hour on The Lionel Show. And now, let's go back to the phones, back to what I call the fun. Let's go to David. David in Pennsylvania. David, can you beat that? Can you beat that, David?
I doubt it, but Lionel, I might need help with it as far as you could be a very good member of a Ivy League college faculty.
Oh, God, don't
and
say that.
I may need help with this.
All right.
Okay, now, recently last week, I think it was, we celebrated the 8th annual National Bees Day. Bees, B-E-E-S.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it only the 8th annual National Bees Day when colony collapse has been widely known since at least 2006? Why was
Two
it
in a row,
only
my
the
friend.
8th annual?
Back to back.
Why didn't they start National Bees Day years ago?
That's a great question. Why do you think? The hell's
You're
going
the
on?
faculty member of the Ivy League
No,
school.
no. You tell me. What do you think?
Because the bees are in decline
Is that a pun?
more drastically now in decline in population. And
We have to make sure that we raise the awareness and the importance of pollinators. We have to highlight the threats to bee populations, including, as you know, pesticides, habitat loss. Oh, by the way, geoengineering and spraying. How about 5G? We have to promote apiaries.
Yes.
Did you know that 75% of the world's flowering plants and 35% of global food crops are pollinated by bees?
I think more than 35%.
Their economic value in agriculture is estimated in the billions of dollars.
They feed the cattle.
They feed the cattle.
Livestock.
The cattle are fed by the bee. Did you know that May 20th is World Bee Day? National Bee Day, but also World Bee. And the date was chosen to honor the birthday, did you know this, of Anton Jansa, a pioneer of modern beekeeping from Slovenia, who was born
How many
in
years has that been an annual event?
Since 2017.
See, that's what I mean.
That's what I'm talking about. 1734, this great man. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this, my friend. And let me tell you something. You better listen to me, my friend. You better keep up the excitement. Keep up the passion, David. Oh, sure, they're going to say, oh, there's David, that crazy guy talking about bees again. You don't listen to them. You call me anytime. You understand this, David? Anytime, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Vance.
Thank you, sir. Wow. This is wild. 2 in a row. You don't get this during the day, huh? And for good reason. Let's go to Laura. Laura, this is going to be good. Laura from Chicago and WGN. You're on the Lionel Show.
Yes, well, it's been bugging the heck out of me trying to think of this person's name, and I finally figured it out.
Who?
You know Victor French, the guy, the actor, right?
Victor French?
Yes.
Who is Victor French?
Well, if you ever watched Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah. Well, what about
He was Michael Landon's buddy.
Yeah.
I swear you could be a spitting image of him.
Well, thank you for that. Make that
And
4, Tony.
I think Victor French is a pretty good-looking guy, and I think you resemble him very well.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, Laura. And you have a great and a solid... Thank you.
Take care.
All righty. What the hell is... This is, by the way, Mr. French, I believe. He died. He died in 1989 of lung cancer. He was just a mere 54 years old. I did not know that. Isn't that something? All righty. I'll tell you, this is 4 or 5 in a row. This is fantastic. Let's go to Sandra. Sandra in New Jersey. You're on the Lionel Show.
Hi, Lionel. You were so kind to that man, David. It was funny.
Well, I'm not kind. That was genius. You never hear that. Somebody would have probably cut that man off. It's like, I can't get near this.
But you did it. You were great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So I was thinking about what's going on in Los Angeles, all the rioters and how out of control they are. And Gavin Newsom and Maxine Waters and Karen Bass all encouraging this. I have a lot of anger because for the past 4 years when Biden was president, we had to swallow a river. with all the people coming. Oh, it makes sense. They came past the, we had to swallow so much for 4 years going along with what Biden wanted. So now it's our turn, and we elected Trump because we wanted certain things.
Absolutely.
And we wanted these people to go home where they belong and come back the right way. And they're not respecting our wish like we respected theirs. So I think it's not fair, and I'm a little pissed off.
I don't blame you, and I think it's wonderful. By the way, as I happen to be looking, I told you, I have these cameras, these TVs here, and I got CNN over here. CNN, LA Mayor Karen Bass on intense clashes between police. They're talking to this criminal on CNN, giving her airtime to explain, to explicate, to limb, to expatiate the bases and the realm of her criminality. Then we have MSDNC. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And the other channel we have, of course, Spectrum. Spectrum is a local cable news show that nobody watches. And then over here, we have Fox News. Where Trey Gotti. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Trey Gotti. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what this guy is about. Guess what they're talking about? Ready for this? Democrats change tune on pardons. They're going to talk about the auto pen again. And they're showing pictures of Biden falling down the steps. I'm telling you what's happening right now that is so critical. And they're talking about the same thing with the auto pen. Dear God, there's no end to this. There is no end. The degree of detachment, it's incredible. And by the way, about UAPs look, I don't know why people are not, as am I, riveted, fascinated by the idea of extraterrestrial life. Do you know what that means? To see this, to be able to sit there and say, I'll show you some things. Right now, as you know, the age of the earth is what exactly? Remember this? How old is the earth? Our earth, how is it? It's 4.5 billion years. Okay? So that's 4,500 million years. Right? You got that? 4,500 million years. If there was another planet that was 4,501 million years, just 1 million years older, just 1 million, that's all, a mere million, what would that mean? Theoretically, the story goes, my friend, from 1903, I guess, from Kitty Hawk until 1905, I guess, to Kitty Hawk to landing on the moon, 1969, if you believe that. That's what, 64, 55 years, whatever it is, okay? So in 65 years, we went from Orville and Wilbur to Neil Armstrong and One Small Step for Man, right? That's all it was. That's just 65 years. Imagine a million years, a million-year jump, a million. And imagine what it'd be like if you could sit down and say, can I talk to you? Yes. Do you know anything about cancer? We had cancer. We got rid of that. Really? Yes. Do you know anything about yes. How are our physics rules? Well, you got some of it. Sort of. Maybe. Because remember, it's all the same universe, all the same rules. Our relativity is their relativity. It's the same thing. Whatever the rules are. Can you imagine what they could show us? Can you imagine what we could learn? Can you imagine what that would be like? It blows my mind. And here's the best part, too. The Vatican has said repeatedly that not only is it possible for there to be other life forms in the universe, but that believing in such does not in any way run afoul of Catholicism or Christianity. In fact, they may be akin to what we would call angels. And they also, the question is, would they be subject to original sin? This blows my mind. What if they did not seek or need to seek redemption or being born again? What if they said, we don't know what you're talking about? What if Jesus? Who's Jesus? What do you mean, who's Jesus? Jesus, we don't know anything about Jesus. You don't? No. Well, why do we? I don't know. Why would Jesus only come to this planet? You mean out of the hundreds of billions of galaxies and stars and planets, why would it just be here? Is Jesus just an earth god? How does that work? Do you think God would say, look, I've got hundreds of millions of potential planets, but those earth folks, they really need my help. Does that make sense to you? Then again, who am I to second guess God? I don't know. They don't want you to think this. They don't want you to think this. Let me also tell you something, why this is important. And this is the most critical. Always ask yourself, cui bono, qui prodest? Who benefits from this, all right? Who benefits? This is what's really, really important. And you have to ask yourself this question. Why is it? Why do you think there would be reasons why they would keep this quiet? Do you know what would happen if extraterrestrial craft, or I guess the materials that were recovered, do you know they would represent the most valuable technological asset in human history? Imagine metamaterials, gravity manipulation, energy system, anti-inertia propulsion, where you could be boxed in this your own inertia, so you could fly and make those hard right turns. This could redefine warfare, transportation, energy. Whoever masters this technology first wins the 21st century. Full stop. That's why Lockheed, and Raytheon, and Northrop Grumman, and other giants would keep it secret. Admitting that it even exists could level the playing field or invite global regulation. The bottom line is about control. It's about patents and profits. Then there's weaponization. Imagine what the next generation weapons programs. Imagine a fighter that defies gravity, or a drone with warp speed mobility. Drones. Imagine revealing that non-human aircraft existing, could it trigger an arms race? I mean, I don't know. That's why they want to keep it quiet. National security. See, from a military perspective, the presence of advanced non-human craft over U.S. airspace is a bad problem. First, the public can't be told that we can't control our airspace. And then also, remember the other day when we had a while back, we had the drones over New Jersey. Remember that one? What was that about? They went crazy, and then we just forget it. We just forget the whole thing. Look, all I'm telling you is this. Open your mind. Open your eyes. And even on when Tucker, who kind of, sort of, maybe, kind of addressed the issues of this initially, at least theoretically, at least initially, there was this thing that always happened. There was some guy in the graphics department, whenever Tucker on Fox, when he was with Fox, whenever talk about this, they would have this guy draw flying saucers and weird, green men and with antennae and kind of a My Favorite Martian, because they can't deal with this thing rationally. They can't. And instead of being overwhelmed with curiosity, overwhelmed with fascination, instead we just immediately dismiss it. All right, enough of the preaching. Tom in the Bronx, you're on the Lionel Show.
Mr. LeBron, I'm so glad you picked up my call. I wanted to. Do you object to my calling you by your real name?
Apparently not.
No. Okay, good. I didn't know, but I wanted to weigh in and ask you if you remember the characters Giba Giba, Kay Lostuma, Hambone. Who was that?
I sure do. All right, 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. You should see the look on our friend Dr. Atwood's face. Can you? I mean, you cannot. You're asking, what in the hell is going on here? Well, I, for one, love it. See, what you consider to be demented calling, I find fascinating. I really do. And all my life, I've been kind of like, don't really fit in. I don't fit in on the left. I don't fit, sure as hell don't fit. On the right, I don't know what to say. I've always thought to myself, the things that fascinate me the most, I've been told, don't ask that question. Why? That's crazy. Why is that crazy? That's crazy talk. We are right now, I'm sitting, and this is the part I really want to know. More than anything else, I would love to have somebody from, let's say, CNN or somebody. And by the way, I'm watching on one of my screens here, they're showing the Kamala D. Harris thing that somebody created for her. And I want to sit down and I want to say, hello, whatever your Caitlin Collins or whoever you are. There's nobody looking. I've given you a drop of something. It's kind of sodium pentothal-esque. Do you believe truly that it's a good thing for there to be fires and destruction and mayhem and the collapse of order and civilization in Los Angeles? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think so? Do you believe this is good? Do you believe this is valid? I don't know what the word is. Protest. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you believe this is valid? Do you believe that? Yes or no? Well, okay. Do you believe that was antagonized, that was caused, that was precipitated by President Trump? Do you believe that this is a normal reaction to this? That whenever the president exerts whatever particular force or pressure or tendency he has, that this is a natural form of reaction? That this is part and parcel? Do you believe that? Do you really believe that? Well, do you believe that this man waving a Mexican flag as he stands atop a burning vehicle, which is tough because it's on fire, do you believe, really and truly, this is normal? The answer is no. So do you believe that what you're saying is basically just pursuant to what? The leftist agenda? Is that it? Is that it? Yes. And do you believe that people from the left honestly, truly, actually believe that cars overturned and set on fire, notwithstanding the fact that you believe this was precipitated by Trump, but do you think people think this is a good idea? The answer is, of course, no. Well, how is it that this even occurs? How is it that this occurs? So what you're doing is you're doing this because you work on CNN. Yes. And you're doing this because you realize that after CNN goes, there ain't going to be much. Let me put it to you this way. When CNN, think about this, CNN, MSDNC, that's it. When they go, and they're going, believe me, look at CBS. Look at CBS. Look at the big broadcast. Look at the one on 57th Street. That's good. I don't know what that's going to be, but you know that they're going to sell that thing. I'm just saying. Redstone is on her way out. They're so done with this. It's over. That model is through. So they're doing this as long as they can. So basically, they're on TV lying. Now, everybody that I know of loves heterogeneity. We love the fact that we live in I think, the greatest city in the world, here in New York. And we have the best food, there's so many great cultures. And we love it. We love this. We love it. But we love people following the rules. So my point is, you do realize there is no argument here. You're doing this. This is contrived. This is caca del toro. You understand what I'm saying? This is bull egesta, bovine egesta. This is nonsense. Nobody's believing this. Nobody's believing this. Nobody believes for a moment this is contrived. President Trump, you know what you have to do. You know what you have to do. I'm telling you, my favorite, the sweet sticky thing off the Honey, or the Honey album. Oh my God, that sax player, whoever when he just wails on that. Oh my God, I love that. Let's go back to the phones. Back what I call the fun April. April, you're on the Lionel Show.
Good morning. Good morning.
Indeed.
I wanted to share with you two thoughts that I've had on my mind lately. And one is the local draft board. I want to encourage your listeners, and quite frankly, I feel that your radio show is a public service, duty to America, 1,000%.
Good.
You are wonderful. I have served on the local draft board for the region for several years.
Do we have a draft board? Do we have a draft?
Oh, yeah, we do. I'm on it.
A draft board?
Yeah, so this is so important, Lionel. Back on March 17th, 2012, Obama had an executive order, and I'm one of those weirdos that reads executive orders. And he actually quote unquote redid the draft, and he used it. He said that our nation needed it for labor. So under him, selective service at that date became revamped. And now, if you were this has a lot to do with immigration in the United States. People don't realize. He changed it all around where if we have a war, a need for the draft, illegal young men will be drafted.
Well, let me tell you what our friends at ChatGPT tells us. The U.S. still has a draft system in place, though no one has been drafted since 1973. The system is maintained by the Selective Service. The draft board refers to local boards, official committees set up under the Selective Service system to evaluate claims for deferments, etc. There are thousands of draft board members across the country already appointed and trained. These boards are on standby in case of a national emergency.
I encourage people to apply to be a member, to be on a board. I guess maybe
you're not going to be doing anything, but it's like
we had very lengthy training this past
when
summer.
was this?
In the summer. This past summer.
Where is your draft board in New Jersey? Where does one?
We meet. We have a regional board. People live in different areas, and we had a large training for all of us in this past summer, and it was on Zoom. And we had mock draft hearing where they set up a scenario, and we had a board, and others had to listen.
You buying
and
this?
Then we had
Anybody
people,
buying this story?
Who pretended?
She seems
to
so
file a
normal,
claim,
but
and we had to have discussions about whether or not we would have them not serve. And all of this is very important.
But you're having a mock draft board meeting for something that doesn't even exist in the event you need one.
Yeah, that's my concern. That is my concern, because we will need one in my mind.
I hope not. That means I hope we're not going to have a draft.
Well, so the other.
Wait a minute. Do you think we're going to have a draft? Do you think we're going to actually draft people again?
I do.
In the military, those don't work.
Well, I'm just really concerned. So
let me ask you something. How many people how many people do you think in the New Jersey area are involved in draft boards? How many? I mean, how
many people have volunteered?
How many people
throughout New Jersey? Yeah. I would say a dozen.
A dozen?
I know my brother's one.
And where do you go to? This is so fascinating.
Yes. So if you go onto, it's really a civic duty. Number one, I'm 66 years old, and I remember the draft, the Vietnam War on TV, and my babysitter's fiance being killed in Vietnam, and coming home, and all of a sudden he's not around anymore. You know.
But I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but you can go to you can visit. This is important. You can visit the Selective Service system page at sss.gov/volunteers. Click Apply to be a board member. You'll be asked to fill out a short interest form. Your name goes to the governor of your state, who must officially nominate you for presidential appointment. And you will receive formal training. You serve a 20-year term. but we don't have a draft. It's like me having this alien lookout team or something. Okay, listen, this shocks me. Go and look it up yourself. Ask your friends on ChatGPT. ChatGPT's the greatest. This has been the wildest night. I can't tell you. I never knew half of this stuff, and for good reason. More coming up. The final hour of today's show on the Lionel Show. Stay tuned. Did you know we have a draft board? People are volunteering for a draft board, even though we haven't had a draft since 1973. What? And you serve a 20-year term? Did you know this? I didn't know anything about that. I have no idea about any of this. I am shocked. Absolutely shocked. Another thing, too, I am glad that I am not a police officer because I would be shooting. I would be so violent. So absolutely violent. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I know, Riff, you know, Dr. Atwood, one of my favorite things to do, sounds strange, but for relaxation, and my wife thinks I'm absolutely out of my mind, which is true to an extent, but I watch YouTube channels, and it's just under Karen's getting arrested. And just do what I'm saying. Start off with, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of different ones. And you'll see this. The guy has a body camera, and he pulls over. I'm a Sergeant Atwood with the police department. License and registration. What are you stopping me for? You followed me. You were following me. Excuse me? You were following me. Why are you following me? Because I'm the police. License, but I don't have to give you. I'm on my phone. I'm calling my mother. Put your phone down. Yeah, I'm not going to put my phone. Now, remember, this was something that would have been like, thank you very much. Have a nice day. You're right, officer. You know what? Forget it. I'll just give you a warning. Thank you, sir. No, that's gone. That's done. We're now into the next stage. Have you had anything to drink? What are you talking about? I'm not going to get out of the car. You can't get me out of the car. Versus Mims. They always cite the Mims case. You can't get me. No, we can get you out of the car. And if you don't get out of the car, we'll break your window. That's my favorite. I always put in broken window. Okay. And these women are dragged out of the car on the side of the road, dragged out. Or they don't have, you have I don't have a registration. You've never had, well, I don't see why. Well, why are you stopping me? Why are you stopping me? Anyway, so these cops, and invariably they go through high-speed chases. They'll get in the car and take off, or the cop will stick his hand inside to try to open the door. They raise the window up and take off with the cop hanging out of the window. Okay. I would get out of my car and empty my service revolver or pistol and just say, that's it, put me, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm looking right now at a picture of Maxine Waters, and I don't want to be mean about what somebody looks like. She looks like a fright wig that melted. It's just horrible. Who are these people? There's a woman with purple hair I'm watching screaming at some cop. I'd say, can I hit her with this stick? Do you mind if I hit her with this stick? Why? Because she's getting on my nerves. You can't hit her. Why not? You gave me this stick. It's this big stick. Why can't I hit him? Because would you talk to a cop like that? Would you talk? You know, there was a time when our parents would say, if you talk to a cop, you go, hey, you can't do that. Oh, yeah? Watch this. I don't understand this. All my life, I've lived by the idea, what are you doing? These people who get into, have you ever been in, like, people get into fights at bars? Why? Why are you getting into a fight? This person could kill you. He hits you, cracks your face, breaks it. Why are you doing this? Why? Go ahead, walk away. It's okay. Tell me, your pride might hurt now, but tomorrow you'll wake up and you say, you know what? I'm glad I didn't do that. When the police say, you can't go here. Okay. You ever get in a car and all of a sudden you turn the corner and they just stop and say, why are you stopping? Why are the cones out? Why can't I go over there? Why? You know what you do? You say, thank you, and you go the other way. Am I a schmuck? Maybe. Why bother? You can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. And we have this person. This is the best part. This is the best part. How are you not? If somebody says, do you know what those ICE people did? What? They went and now what if I told you this? You know what those bastards did? They went and they took riffraff. They took him away. But he's a citizen. I know. Now that I'd object to. He's a citizen. You can't do that. As opposed to, did you know he wasn't a citizen? What? He was never legal. There you go. Did you hear about Tony? They towed his car. Why? Doesn't have a license. Expired. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. How does anybody say, I'm going to go protest? How dare you? This is the thing. I'm sorry to say this, because I know kids are different. I know this. But if somebody said they took away an 11-year-old kid, why? He's not a citizen. We have a dear friend of ours, Sid, and you're going to Cyprus with his wife, and very nice. Sid should go there and say, hey, I'm staying here as long as I want. And my wife and I are too. And if we like it, we just may say, the hell with you and your green card. I don't want to hear about this. My wife and my family, and by the way, I want free insurance. I want to get an EBE card. I want my kids to be registered for your local public schools. And I'll be here as long as I want. Where's my money? Where's my goodie bag? They will say, get the hell out of here. I don't understand this. I swear to you. Now, for example, if you said ICE has been violent to people, okay, let's protest. If police have been violent, okay, maybe. But ICE they're arresting people who aren't citizens? I had a friend of mine years ago, passed away. And he had some problems. There was some problem with his kid, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know what I'm worried about? What? He said, well, I'm not a citizen. I said, you're what? He said, no, I never. Wait a minute. What? Why? It's just like people say, you know that, what's the thing called, the real ID? You know, we got 5 more weeks of the real ID. And then, whether you like it or not, it's a different story. You know, whether you think it's draconian. But if you tell me the date, I'll get it done. I don't understand it. I live in a different world. Now, Bob is in Orange County, New York, and Bob is a member of the draft board. Is that correct, Bob?
Yes, it is. I've been a member for as long as I can remember.
Now, Bob, forgive my ignorance, I am just shocked by this. I didn't think there was a draft board anymore.
Yeah, I was surprised. I held another municipal position, and they asked me to tag this on. Could you be a member of the selective service system? And I agreed. It meant nothing. A couple of trainings a year.
Are you paid? Are you?
No, not at all. Civic duty.
So what you're saying is, in the event that this were to ever be activated again, you're ready to go.
I wanted to get even. I got drafted in 1967. And I wanted to get even. No, that's not true.
On our side?
I did get drafted in 1967.
On our side? Just a joke.
Yes.
What
Yes, sir.
what branch did you serve, sir?
The U.S. Army.
Well, thank you for your service. And where were you assigned? Where were you stationed? What were your duties?
A special agent, counterintelligence in the Republic of Germany, on the Soviet border, on the Soviet East German border.
Now, wait a minute. This sounds so good. Say this again. Counterintelligence.
1967.
And you're in Germany counterintelligencing those East German commie bastards, right?
Oh, yeah, you came right.
And what did you actually do that you can tell us? What did you do?
I went around from police station to police station and read the police blotter. In German.
In German. And you can speak German, correct?
I went to the Defense Language Institute. Yes, I did.
So you didn't speak German to begin with?
Not a word.
Not a word. So they send you, and the best part is the operative word is intelligence, counterintelligence, and you showed up and they say, we have to, we understand that the Bob is here. And you say, yes, I don't speak Dutch, but I'm going to do the best I can to find out what the Stasi bastards are doing. I don't know what that is. Colonel Clinker. I don't know what that was. I just did.
You said Stasi. How do you know the Stasi?
Of course. What are you? Come on. It's history, for God's sakes. Did you know Stasi? And don't forget, Linda Stasi, she used to have a local radio, and I think she was with the Daily News, and she did a show with my friend Mark Simone in the old days on a show called New York One. Remember that one? 12 people watched it. Now with Spectrum One, 13. Let's go to Sonny. Sonny, yesterday, Sonny's in Pittsburgh, by the way. You're on the Lionel Show.
Howdy, Lionel. I've been listening to you since I was 21.
How old are you now?
No, excuse me, 27.
Wow.
I'm 51. I'm 51, yes.
Wow.
And I started listening on September 11th, 2001, and we were both highly emotional, and that's why I love listening to you, because we were the same type of mad. And I sort of tuned out to mainstream media, and I love talk radio, but I just tuned it all out.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
But I came back to it when you and Cumia popped your head back up on WABC, and it's kind of nice to be back.
Well, let me tell you something. This is, and I keep thinking to myself, see, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of jaundiced, and Tony can tell you, we work for some of the biggest jerks you can imagine. I mean, just people who are just stupid, who have no business being in any kind of communication, whatever. This organization is so, I swear to God, they've never, sometimes, I don't want to go into details, but sometimes I get a suggestion like, hey, did you see this? I'm thinking, you're sending me this? Wow. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It is. You're damn right it's interesting. Because you see, here's the thing, Sonny. We have been told for the longest time not to talk about stuff which is the most interesting. If it's interesting, they don't want to hear about it. It's like, I don't understand how anybody could not find this interesting. I don't want to talk about the auto pen anymore. I don't want to talk about Joe Biden falling down steps. I know this already. Why are people doing it? Because they feel like they have to do this obligatory, these are the hits I've got to play. I've got to say this. I don't understand it. The most important issue right now, the one that has kept me up, I swear to God. These people, I'm looking at these people, I'm saying, you don't want illegal aliens to be prosecuted? Why? Maybe I just don't get it. Why? Our number is 800-848-9222. Don't forget LionelMedia.com. Check that out. And also, I've got a newsletter. It's absolutely free. Oh, it's a barn burner. And I'll teach you some words you probably haven't heard before. Can you believe that? More coming up with the Lionel Show, so stay tuned. If she knew what she wants or whatever, I'd be giving it to her. I think they were great. Go-Go's, Bananarama, Venus, sorry, and Robert De Niro walking. Even though I cannot stand Robert De Niro, it's a great song. I got to admit it. Sometimes you got to admit it. I'm looking at this. I swear to God, I'm looking at these monitors which you can't see, of people holding up signs that say L.A. is a how do I say this? L.A. is a sanctuary city. What? What is this? I don't understand this. I swear to you, what is the matter with me? Why do I not see any benefit in having illegal aliens in your country? Nothing personal. I don't get it. George on Long Island, you're on the Lionel Show.
Yeah, hi, Lionel. You'll relate to this as a prosecutor. Some of your calls tonight, reminded me on a Monday morning when I go down to the arraignment part where I worked in the criminal court building. I hated to go when it was a full moon because everybody came out of the woodwork.
It's always a full moon.
Yeah, I know. Your calls tonight, I may not leave the house today because I'm frightened. I don't know who's out there.
It's unbelievable. And they're legitimate. They're not kidding. And they're not dangerously crazy. They shouldn't be forcibly, arrested. by virtue of what they're saying. But it amazes me to no end because I'm thinking, dear God, this is insane.
Lionel, I'll tell you a story about arraignment part with Curtis Lewer if you want to hear. He knows me. I arraigned him a couple of times as the clerk. You want to hear this? You'll get
of
a
course. Why not? Sure.
Okay. Also, someone else you mentioned on the show. It was a Monday morning. I don't know if it was a full moon. Curtis was, involved in disorderly conduct. Before Curtis comes out of the pen.
Now, by the way, lest anyone understand, I think what you're probably referring to is that associated with his various activities as
with the Guardian Angels,
the generalissimo of an imaginary group of urban commandos, namely the Guardian Angels. It's not like he's in some bar getting rowdy at 3 a.m.
No,
it was pursuant to his I think his legal right to protest and to demonstrate.
No, he was great. He was funny. He first person who came out that it was on a Monday, right? Monday was crazy after the weekend because and whoever was arrested when they arrested people in those days, the place was packed. And the first person that came out, which I am amazed he's still alive, was Carlos Santana. He used to get arrested once in a while. Carlos Santana lived near Curtis in those days at Alphabet Land, and him and his posse were always getting in trouble.
Carlos Santana? Oye, como va? Carlos?
Let me tell you, Lionel.
Oh, my God.
This is the truth. I'm not trying to slander the guy. He would... The partying that they would do, that he's alive after all these years, is just amazing. Then Curtis comes out. Now, we used to have the ladies of the night sitting on the bench because we wouldn't put them in with the men. He comes out, and the ladies are all waving to him, the ladies of the night. Some of them were sweet girls. Hi, Curtis. Hi, Curtis. I go, I'm getting this is showtime. And they'd be waving to him, and at the end, he had some minor thing, and he wouldn't take a piece of paper they used to have to give him. You have a right to appeal to the appellate division. You have to, get a lawyer, the whole bit. He wouldn't take the paper. And I said, Curtis, come on.
Why wouldn't he take the paper?
I just being Curtis. So I said, Curtis, you better take this because the paper they're going to give you inside to use it on your tuchus, like you say, is a lot harder than this paper. And he was an amazing guy.
It still is.
He really is. He's just...
As are you, George.
Guy.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Carlos Santana. I'm shocked. The guy with the peace and the harmony of the... This guy getting locked up for what? What? Pete, you're on the Lionel Show.
Hey, Lionel, you brought up Liberace. I used to set up his piano, his grand pianos, and he didn't want nobody else to touch the piano except me and the crew.
Now, where did you travel with him, or was it only when he was here?
No, it was in New York, and I worked out of Saturday Night Live, but I covered...
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so...
What was he like as a person?
He was very kind. A lot of people... in show business, if you're giving them their privacy, like I never asked for autographs, and I still to this day don't. I had a locker that everybody's autograph was on, from Frank Sinatra to Bing Crosby to Dean Martin. It was actually a crew box, and it was given to me by a gentleman who I worked with, who was in the business for 60 years. See, this business, 60 years, it's a young man's business, but you could stay a while. I was there a total of 26 years. But the guys who worked with me for the whole duration, they came down with a lot of illnesses because we worked with a lot of asbestos and stuff. I got very sick, but I got sick from 9/11, But if I would have stuck around there, I think I would have been having troubles because
you realize that we started off with you saying I used to tune Liberace's piano, and now we got here. Isn't that something? That's my favorite conversation. Liberace, that was a place in West Orange called Pal's Cabin. Now it's a CVS. Right. And I remember just looking at the various signs that he was like the house band, not the house band, but the house performer, I think Liberace or whatever his name is. And he was incredible. I remember watching him with my grandmother and her sister, my aunt. And you know what? We kind of knew what gay was, but it didn't matter. we sort of knew, but you know what I mean? Like Paul Lind and other people. We didn't, Charles Nelson Riley. When we were kids, we didn't understand. Does that make any sense to you? I don't know whether it does or not. And if it doesn't, sue me. Our number is 800-848-9222. And this is 30 past the hour on The Lionel Show. And let's go back to the phones, back to what I call fun. Rusty in Queens, you're on The Lionel Show.
Yeah, Lionel. You know that Kathy Holton was at the Belmont Stakes, and she's smiling and taking credit for things, you know. I'm thinking, look at this witch. She could eat corn on a cob to a chain link fence.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Rusty. I appreciate that. It's pertinent. It's relevant, poignant, a perfect review of the situation at hand. I thank you for that. Crude, yes, but nonetheless entertaining. Robert in Suffolk, you're on the Lionel Show.
Hi, Lionel. I can tell you why.
Robert.
I can tell you why they want the illegals not to be arrested.
I think we know why, but what's your theory?
Okay, in every communist revolution, they fomented unrest and terror. So they don't want these people arrested that are committing all these crimes to keep on terrorizing the population so that they control them.
Do you really think that regular folks who are standing there with a sign that says we're a sanctuary city, do you really think they're communists or that they want to somehow cause this as step one in the complete and total ruination of our sovereignty? Or do you think they just are kind of like the same way people react to climate change, or they just, it's like this group of issues they all of a sudden have to pledge allegiance to? Yeah, I don't think that's it. I think the people in charge, the people who are in charge of the shadow government want there to be the following. They want there to be a complete and total replacement. A replacement of the people who are Americans with these folks so that there is a permanent Democratic Party. They want to see D.C. as a 51st state. They want to remove the filibuster. They want to pack the Supreme Court. And little by little, they also want to make sure that they put as many people into certain areas for purposes of redistricting, for gerrymandering, for new population controls when the next census comes up. So this is deliberate. At the level of the chidrulo on the street, they don't know any better if they said, hey, listen, you're a lefty, right? We're going to be meeting at Tompkins Square Park, at Union Square, to protest Trump. I've got it. I got to tell you this one story. I have a friend of mine, one of many, who just does not speak to me anymore because of my supposed purported allegiance to and with and regarding President Trump. So he had on his Facebook something to the effect that said, hey, I wonder who's the president. Is it Trump? No, excuse me. I wonder who's the president. Is it Putin or Musk? Vladimir Putin or Elon Musk? Now, he actually said this. And of course, he won't answer my calls, return my calls. But if I could call him, I would say, did you care at all when your president, Joe Biden, was physically, mentally, and experientially unable, disqualified, and detached from reality? Did that bother you at all? No, it didn't bother you, did it? No. But this does? What is the matter with you? Do you really think, do you honestly, truly, are you suggesting that you're all of a sudden concerned about this? No, because TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, is like nothing I have ever seen. My friends, if there's anyone old enough to remember this, there was a time during FDR, before my time, when Smedley Butler was enlisted to try to I guess, overthrow the government, but they hated FDR, hated him, but not like this. They hated Nixon, hated him, but not like this. Not like this. There were people who reluctantly said, Nixon maybe this or that, but there was a portion that at least saw through him. There are people who somehow became, that Trump potentiates the hate part of their brain. What do I mean? Alcohol potentiates diazepams and certain anxiolytics. Meaning, if you take Valium and you take a shot of tequila, it'll be even worse because the alcohol potentiates the diazepam. Well, Trump apparently potentiates whatever the inherent hate centers are of the brain, because I know people who just sit back. I can tell you this. I'm thinking, what has he done? They don't have a democratic point of view. They don't have a political point of view other than the fact that they hate Trump. I know you think and I'm sure you know people like this too. I'm not oversimplifying it. How many of you have had this happen to you? How many people have you said, I've got friends, they don't talk to me anymore. They don't talk to me because of Trump. What the hell does Trump have to do with anything? If you don't like him, fine. But I've never seen anything like it. Bobby's calling. Bobby in Brooklyn. You're on the Lionel Show.
Hey, Lionel Bobo. How's it going?
How are you, my friend?
Come stai? Molto bene?
Bene. Give me going.
Grazie. Molto buono. Hey, I was stationed in Italy during Vietnam.
On our side?
66. Okay. I was drafted, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also had my twin brother stationed with me. He got drafted 3 months later and came to me in Italy. And that was very unusual, extremely
I was going to
unusual.
say, I thought there was some rule that said two brothers cannot serve together, or...
That was because of the Sullivan brothers on the ship that died.
Remember that
together,
movie? Oh, God. The Fighting Sullivans.
But that was in a war zone. I was in a peace zone, supposedly. But we had, I was a custodian for nuclear bombs.
What?
Now, they say about shooting missiles here and there. We had igloos with bombs. I can't say how many or where or what. But I was a custodian for nuclear bombs, and we had them there because Russia moved all its divisions down to the border of Europe while we were in Vietnam in case we lost, and they would do their invasion, maybe. But anyway, we were there to help the Italians, and they had Honest John rockets, they were called at the time, and we had the warheads for them and the Little Johns, which were helicopter bound. But anyway, they don't have to shoot these warheads off on a missile. Mm-hmm. They could build it in the kibbutz and set it off. Mm-hmm. They could build it in New York, in the city, and set it off.
Of course, yes.
Everybody's out. They got us all looking for missiles, rockets, this, that. Forget about it. But it's a combination of everything. But the thing is, I heard you mention Pal's Tavern before.
Yes.
Was that in West Orange?
Yep. Pal's Tavern, yep.
My aunt lived right up the street on Harrington Terrace in Eagle Rock there.
Oh, I know where that is, yep. You know what's right on Eagle Rock? It's a great diner, Chit Chat Diner. I love that place.
Oh, my God, yeah. Everybody went there.
Oh, still do.
And then, Lionel, do you know what the mommy bee said to the baby bee?
I do not know, sir.
If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here.
Bobby, you have a gift. Don't ever abuse it, my friend.
Do you want to see why I do it that way? Oh, I did it.
You know, I had a friend of mine named Vic who used to sing that. That brought it, huh?
Vic Ventura?
No. But that's close enough. Bobby, thank you, my friend.
Hey, we had fun.
Thank you, sir. This is the wildest. This is one for the record. John on Staten Island, you're on the Lionel Show.
Morning, Lionel. I was actually watching your video last night, a little bit of it on that you posted live. Very interesting.
And by the way, the excitement in your voice, I think, conveys that idea that I think the word riveting comes to mind by virtue of the tremulousness in your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about the riots in L.A. and how the Democrats are blaming Trump for it.
That is a good one, though. That is good. I mean, the cojones of these people. What did Trump have to do with this? Name it. What?
I think back to 2020 and BLM and George Floyd and all that, and how they blamed Trump for George Floyd's death and other nameless things they could write a whole book about. But, like, it just doesn't make sense.
Now, John, work with me on this one. Work with me on this. Let's try to be fair about this. Now, they're going to say the reason why we're rioting is because you, President Trump, have inspired us or antagonized us or what have you. Now, Trump said, but I'm responding to your rioting. So you were rioting first. Were you rioting in an anticipatory form of rioting? Did they say, let's turn over these Waymos or whatever these propelled vehicles are because we know that President Trump will do something in the future? I don't understand this. He responded to you. He responded to you. He responded to your rioting. You're claiming you rioted because of him. So what came first? The chicken or the egg? The riot or the reaction? I don't get it.
Nothing makes sense anymore.
John, this is taxing to you, is it not? I could tell you're caught by this. You're frozen. You're paralyzed in a paroxysm of reaction. Now, to most people who will come, but you would say this guy's almost narcotized. Perhaps he may be overdoing the anxiolytics. But I say, oh no. Beneath that calm exterior, inside you're a seething volcano of anger. Would I be correct?
Yes.
Thank you, John. And by the way, John, tell me a little bit about you because you fascinate me. What do you do, John? What do you do? And what are you doing at 4:41 in the morning on Monday? What are you doing right now? Tell me.
Listening to your show on the radio.
I know that. And let me ask you something. What do you do for employment or to keep the lights on? What do you do, sir?
I don't want to share that on air.
What? You're a male prostitute, aren't you? Be honest with me.
No, I am not.
Oh, the way you reacted. Aha! I hit a nerve. Oh, what's so funny about that? Ah, okay, all right. Now I'm getting warm. I'm getting warm on that one. But so what you're doing is you have a job. You do have a job, correct? You are employed doing something?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Oh, so you're unemployed.
Correct.
So why would you not? You just told me what you didn't do, but before you said I'd rather not say. So what happened between you rather not say and you told me you're not working? What, you change your mind?
I don't want to disclose my age or personal business.
Who's asking about your age? I didn't bring out your age. But while we're on it, how old are you?
I don't want to share.
What difference is your age? You're out of work. You're not working, correct? Are you unemployed or are you just?
I'm still in school.
Okay. So it's not that you're unemployed and you live with your parents?
Matter of fact, I graduate high school on Thursday.
And you and you live with your parents?
Correct.
Now let me ask you something. You sound much older for somebody. Normally, people in your age group, you must be 18 or something. I don't know, something like that. You sound like an adult. Most people in your age group sound like morons, mouth-breathing Boeotians who can barely articulate a phoneme, much less a sentence. Why are you, to what do you attribute your articulateness?
My knowledge of politics.
Interesting. Now, you graduated from high school, and I bet you're kind of like an old soul. I bet you don't really fit in with a lot of your friends. You're on another planet. They say, oh, there's John. Don't ask him whether he works or how old he is, even though he goes to school with us, because he's funny about that. But you don't fit in with your friends, do you? You don't have a lot of friends.
I do.
See, you hesitate. So the answer is you don't. Because most people would say, because if you're having this much time or this difficult time just talking on the phone, I can't imagine you in tough social negotiations. Now, what about a lady in your life? Anybody? Or are you, which is fine. Which is fine. I don't care. But do you have a lady in your life, John?
Yes, and I love her.
Well, that's a start. Does she love you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can I do you? How long have you been with her?
3 years.
3 years. Are you planning on making it a permanent thing, or is this just for the time being?
Hopefully permanent.
Now, have you discussed this with her?
No.
Do you think it might be a good idea to, I don't know, kind of run it by her just for by the way, you might be wondering what I'm anticipating as far as down the road. Now, was she a student with you as well?
Yes, and she's also graduating.
Oh, very good. So she's the same age. And are you going to be staying together? Are you going off? What is your next stage? Are you going to college? Are you?
College.
College. Terrific. And you have all that lined up. Don't tell us where, obviously, but you've got that lined up?
Correct.
And what will you be studying, John? What is your major?
Undecided for the
Undecided. Do you have any inclination? Because let's face it, these ridiculous, these majors really mean nothing. Philosophy, communications, political science. What the hell does that mean? It's nothing. It means nothing. See,
I actually am going to be taking a political science class.
Okay, and this course is going to be taught by some lefty Marxist nutcase, right? Is that what you're going to do? Remember,
I'm sure of it.
The best education is now. YouTube will give you the best education you'll ever learn in your life. So what you need to do is remember, the bottom line is simply this: get the highest GPA there is. Nobody ever cares about nobody ever says, well, wow, you're 4.0. That's terrific. What was your major? Communication. Oh, wow, communication. No, they say 4.0. There's no such thing. So find something that's the easiest, that gives you the highest numbers available. Period. That's all that matters. Because believe me when I tell you this, 10 years from now, you won't remember college. It won't matter at all. Do you say, what was my major again? Oh, yes, political science. And what did I learn? I don't know. So you want to pick the easiest topic. Let's face it. This is not brain surgery. You want the highest GPA. Now, down the road, what do you see yourself doing ultimately? Are you with me, John?
Down the road in the future, hopefully do some sort of work.
You know what I like about you? The fact that you're able to nail this down, to do some kind of work. I like that. So you're going to college right now to do some kind of work. Anything interest you at all? May I suggest something? Computers. You realize there's going to be no need from computers with AI. I mean, it's going to be, come on, it's done. It's done. It's finished.
I've been using some computers since I was 3.
Yeah, but you were probably some Commodore thing years ago, and that. Listen, do you really think you're going to be able to compete with AI? Honestly, what are you going to do? What, fix them? You're gonna what, code? There's no need for that. What do you want to do with computers?
I mean, before I get to the point, I mean, computer science and things like engineering, those are very popular majors these days.
Before you get to did you just say before I get to the point?
Yes.
There's a point?
There's a point.
You've been just sandbagging me? Well, let's get to it, John. What is it, my friend?
So computers.
Oh, that's your point.
Has always been like something for me.
Uh-huh.
And it's always been like some sort of a passion for me.
Mm-hmm.
And while like politics is an interest, and learning about politics by listening to shows like yours and other shows on this radio station or watching TV, and
oh God,
yeah, and even like seeing people argue with each other on social media, which is fascinating.
Oh, isn't it?
And yes, it is.
Here's something you should do, which is the most important thing. Are you on X or I think what they call it X? Kids call it.
I am not on X.
X is the best. Simply the best. Everybody uses it. Elon uses it. Trump, the whole bit. Social, truth, justice, truth, social, whatever the hell that thing is. Nobody. How about Getter? I don't care about it. It's X. Period. Here's what you do. get an account, find somebody who's doing something. Somebody who says, Trump is great, Trump is bad, whatever the person writes. And you respond with, what do you mean? And then they'll come back with something. And then you say, well, give me an example. And then they'll respond. And you say, in all cases? And then they'll respond again. And you're going to see how far can I take this person before they say, I don't know you. I'm not talking to you anymore. You're wasting my time. I have gone through, I think, a 12-year thread with this one person. And whatever they say, I always ask a question. Well, I don't understand. In all cases? Well, what about if he wins? Anyway, because remember something, John. People are there for your amusement. You are under no duty to provide any type of beneficial anything to anybody else. You're in this for number one. And in the long run, one of these days, we're all going to be dead. And none of this matters. So at least we have some fun. And what you should be thinking about is staying with your girlfriend, having her. And by the way, are you normally as riveting when you're with her? Because I use the word scintillating. I hope you don't mind. Speaking to you right now, I'm horripilating.
Like the way I'm talking to you right now is how I would talk to somebody in my life on a regular basis.
Dear God, you poor young man. You got to work on this a little bit. You might want to think about amphetamines. You ever think about that? Amphetamines? Don't kid yourself. Speed, crank, ice. I normally don't advocate drugs, but in your case, it might help. Seriously, it might be something that you might want to consider because let's face it, my friend, this is not going to work. But listen, but if she finds you with, by the way, is she as riveting as you?
No.
Does she have a dram, an ounce, an atom of life in her?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the difference. See, opposites attract. Hey, John, thank you so much. Please call me again.
You'll hear from me.
All righty, very good. That's the best one. Tonight, Antoine, I don't know how, I don't even know what to call it. I don't, you know what? I just don't know. Lucy in Suffolk, you're on Virginia on WTAR. Lucy in the sky.
My favorite. You're right. No diamond. I just love that young man. I wonder what his parents are like.
Wonder what he's up at 4 o'clock in the morning talking to some.
I know. I didn't think he was going to tell you what his situation was.
Oh, he would. No, I drag it. No, you have no idea.
Yeah.
See, I can talk to people. Believe me when I tell you this, and we'll find out.
How old am I?
How old are you? Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say.
I'm probably 81.
Dear God.
I know I have a very deep voice, but I've been through that. Okay, I want to know.
I'm not talking about you. Wait, hold it. Wait a minute. 81 has something to do with your voice. No problem. When I don't know why I said, "Dear God," I don't know what that means. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I made it. I've been very fortunate. Okay, and these protesters out in L.A.
By the way, Lucy, are you trans? Yes. Are you a trans person?
No.
Now you know people think that, right? I mean,
I never thought about that.
You never thought about that? Come on, Lucy.
Well, they used to say I have children when I worked at Dollar Tree for a while.
Wait a minute, Dollar Tree. I love Dollar Tree.
When I retired from nursing for 40 years, and I went back. It was so much fun.
Dollar Tree is, and this is still dollar.
It was $1.25 now. It's just $1.25 here on this. I don't know what.
Well, that's
what it
like in New York, we always have the 99 cents or $1 slice pizza.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, now it's $1.50. It's like, oh, for God's sakes! We went to. There was one time I'll never forget. My wife and I went into Dollar Tree. Was it not? Yeah, Dollar Tree.
Uh-huh.
And we went one. I was in one on Bloomfield Avenue. And it was like, I don't know, Christmas time or something. And I had something in my hand. I walked out. And I said, oh, my God. I just walked out with this thing. I said, oh, Jesus. And I thought, I got to go back. Why? I said, because what if I'm arrested and I can see it, Lionel, arrested for stealing one little thing from the dollar store. It's like, this is terrible. So I had to go back, and the line was out the back door. I was like, oh, for God's sakes. And I thought to myself, would anybody let me ahead? And say, no, they're not going to do it. So anyway, but you know what amazed me about the Dollar Tree? How many people buy food there? That's really, it's really, and for things like Christmas, my wife likes ornaments. If you want to get something for like, St. Patrick's Day or Christmas, that's the place to go.
Or those balloons. Oh my gosh.
What
Don't
about
come in and order. Oh, can I have 75 balloons? No, you can't, because I'm the only one here. And
you mean they want you to blow them up?
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, I shouldn't say this, but we'd be out of helium, and there's about 4 tanks in the back. I mean, you just had to make a decision back then. No, we don't have any.
We used to go, my wife, my wife loved Party City. And one time, I never realized the balloons. Dear God! Every conceivable retirement, early retirement, the numbers, the graduation. I mean, it's just, I mean, if you have decision making, if anxiety is a portion of your life, picking a balloon out, it's like, I can't take this. And then you got to order it. And what a racket. Then you got the little weight. Do you want the weight for this? Well, we don't want the balloon flying around, do you? Okay. And then you got the balloon in the car. You got to get the balloon in the back of the car. And it's, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rambling.
It was started here in Norfolk at Woods Corner.
Really?
The man that started it. And the headquarters are here. Where?
And they are still in business, correct? Are they not?
As far as I know, oh yes, yeah. But I learned a whole lot. Oh my God!
What have you learned? What did you learn at the Dollar Tree? Tell me. You know what? We don't have enough time. You got to call me back tomorrow. Let me know what you learned at the Dollar Tree.